faces hot and loud, voices finally unbound. Now it's keys instead of quills, white screens echo silent thrills. Every age has its dissenters, but I was made to bend the mill. You say slow down, ride it like we did, but I've got wildfire under my eyelids. Evolution doesn't knock, it crashes, and I'm already past the ashes. The future writes in ink and code. Don't tell me how the story's told. You can stay in sepia dreams, but I'm chasing silver beams. This pen's electric, this plotline bites. We don't wait, we ignite. You can guard the gates, you know, but the future writes in ink and code. Used to call it art, now they call it cheap, but I'm still sweating over every beat. The tools have changed, the heart is not. I bleed the same, just on a different plot. Some still build with rust and rope, but I've got neural nets and hope. I'm not here to ask permission, I'm the shift you couldn't stop. Said that's not real, that's not pure, but they forget fire made books endure. And every rebel with the screen is part of the next great literary machine. The future writes in ink and code. Don't tell me how the story's told. You can stay in sepia dreams, but I'm chasing silver beams. This pen's electric, this plotline bites. We don't wait, we ignite. You can chain yourself to old echoes, but the future writes in ink and code. From monks in towers with aching hands to basement poets with startup plans, from parchment prayers to algorithm sparks, we've always written in the dark. Now the dark just answers back. The future writes in ink and code. I'm not slowing down this road. You can preach about the craft, but I've got a better map. With every keystroke, every phrase, I'm blazing through this golden phase. History whispers you're too bold, but the future writes in ink and code.
Dear past, thanks for the legends, but this page is mine.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I was inspired by our own little punk girl in that video. I've got the faux hawk going on, so I'm feeling very rebellious. I am author Elizabeth Ann West, CEO of Future Fiction Academy and Future Fiction Press, which, you guys, the press is alive. We published AI Writing for Authors last year as like a test balloon. We literally put that puppy up through Publish Drive, and we did not market it. We just kind of like, let's see what happens if we, position something correctly in the store. And that thing made a couple $100 just like being out there in the ether. It was our first test balloon of, just seeing like what happens when you put a book out that's just properly kind of categorized. Well, I'm here to announce to you that the Sydney Marsh books of Snowstorms and Schnapps and Tumbleweeds and Tequila are officially on pre-order on Amazon as of last night. So if you pop over to Amazon and search Sydney Marsh and Snowstorms and Schnapps, you can pre-order that book. You also can get alerted so that when it comes out, because it is also going to be available in Kindle Unlimited. Snowstorms, we're going to talk more about Snowstorms and Schnapps in a minute. I know, I'm just going a million miles. I'm just so excited. Like, so excited. We had to do punk rock here today. That's how exciting it is. Let me go check the comments. See everybody here. Good morning, Harper. Hey, everyone. Evan, you went to the lab room twice? Yeah, it's live on YouTube. Got it. Although I just realized like my camera is showing more stuff. Hi, Keisha. Good to see you. Liz, always great. Sue, hello. Hi. And Patsy. Christina. My emails are literally ping, 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 as many people do the same thing. We talked about it being live, guys. It's lives. It's lives. Oh, thank you, Sue. I really like this tune too. Like, it's my favorite, like, revolution. We're going after it. All right. Good morning, Stacy. I see you. Hey, Mel. Antonio, good to see you again. Good afternoon. Thank you for living in the future for us so we know what to expect. Maria, nice. Good morning. Hello. Bonjour, McKinley. Good morning, Ray. Love it, love it, love it. Good morning, Jamie. Good to see you. Hey, Jen BB. Okay. Here's why I like seeing all of these names this morning. Put it in the chat if you were a part of a little thing last October called No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Okay. Oh, hi, Danny. Good to see you. Good to see you. So here's the plan for this weekend, okay? Today, you know me, I'm running a little bit behind. That's the way I go. We had a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So this morning, we're going to talk about the classes that are coming up. I'm going to get we're going to talk about that one. But we're going to talk about the classes and what's available because there's a lot of stuff going on in the Future Fiction Academy and Future Fiction Press. This weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I am live at 10 a.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern, which means that the regular Friday Night Live will be part of the writing palooza, the Your First Draft Palooza. My main tools that I'm going to be using on this journey is Your First Draft and also Plot Drive. Plot Drive now has a free tier, everyone. You can go sign up for free on Plot Drive, use your open router key, okay? And you can have up to 15 documents. So you can actually use it free, just like you can use RaptorWrite. And then when you're ready to upgrade to the features that you need, like co-writer and all of those other things that we're developing over there, there's a $24 plan and there's a $59 plan. Well, what's the difference? Really and truly, what happens is that Plot Drive now gives you credits each month, some credits, so that people who do not want to mess with API keys can still use Plot Drive. So if you put your credit card in there, you get a free 14-day trial of the $24 plan. So basically, just putting your credit card in, you get a couple of credits and stuff to just play with it. You can cancel it, but that way you kind of start to understand what it means to write with AI. And it's time. So you're going to hear me talk this weekend a lot about, I feel a very strong impetus, a very strong moment to say, it's really time to get on the ball about this stuff. I feel I need to get this in the hands of as many people as possible because there is something very big in discussion that I cannot talk about. So if you've been watching for years, you know the things that I've been talking about. The tide is shifting quickly. Just the Your First Draft bootcamp that we made available yesterday to the people who signed up first for it. Of course, we did honor that. We said if you signed up for the newsletter, you would be alerted first when your first draft first opens up in beta to people outside of the mastermind and accelerator. When we made that available yesterday, we had 5 sales like in 30 minutes. That's how quick it went. And I'm not going to out names. I never out names or anything like that. But I need to let you know. And it's a couple of things that are happening, things I can't talk about, of course, but things I can let you know is there are some names of people who have over the years assured me and publicly, I would never use AI for writing. Like, I hear you, Elizabeth, still respect you, but AI writing is not for me. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it. Well, guess who has been signing up for these classes? And I think you guys are seeing it in your groups. I know you're still seeing some anti-AI rhetoric out there. I know that. I know you're still getting bad reviews and all of that, but the vast majority of readers do not care. And the vast majority of authors are using. And I know this because do you know that OpenAI, there was an article about this, that they have 330 million users and they get 2.5 billion prompts per day. Yeah. So no, Bill, we're not saying names or anything like that. I don't even talk to that person. So it's not that person. But at any rate, the point is that the tide is shifting. And then there's a very big development that mastermind members and accelerator members know that I can't talk about publicly, but you can probably figure it out. Okay. Good morning. I have my cup of coffee. Let's start for today. Let's get started talking about all the things that the press has the FFA has going on. We're going to take a quick little field trip though, because I'm just chuffed, you guys. I'm so chuffed. Here is our little girl. I'm going to add to stage. Don't worry. I'm going to share this one instead. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, not new tab. I wanted to zoom in so everybody can see. There's Jakey Poo, snowstorms and schnapps. Okay, so here is the blurb. I think that this is so exciting. This is the book that we all wrote together in less than 6 hours in Raptor Right back in October. This is the book from No Sleep Till Brooklyn. And thank you so much, BC Boys, for always being an inspiration with your music. Okay, I'm snowed in, completely at the mercy of a mountain man with an infuriatingly charming grin and a body built to make a woman forget why she swore off distractions. Jake makes survival look effortless. Meanwhile, I'm struggling with the basics, like keeping the fire going and pretending I don't notice the way he watches me. The power's out, the roads are buried, and I have no choice but to rely on him. I didn't come here to get tangled up in a man like him. I came for solitude, a break from the relentless pressure of my life. But now I'm in his cabin, wearing his clothes, standing too close to the kind of temptation I can't afford. The storm won't last forever. Soon I'll go back to my deadlines, my perfectly controlled world, where men like Jake don't exist. But until then, I have nowhere to run, no way to resist, and no choice but to face the one thing I wasn't prepared for, him. Snowstorms and Schnapps is a snowed-in, forced proximity romance where a grumpy mountain man and an emotionally burnt-out city girl find themselves stranded in a remote cabin. For those of you who were part of the writing of that, how does that blurb serve that book? I love it. Christina wrote that blurb, and it's amazing. And of course, she is using some of her new marketing stuff that she's been working on to do this. But I think that perfectly captures that book. So let me know in the chat. But here's the big thing I want to show everyone. This book is short. It's only 11 chapters, but I want to show you the author name in particular. So here's the author name, Sydney Marsh. And we are being out. Read the full bio. Are you guys ready for this? Sydney Marsh writes romance for readers who crave sharp banter. Don't worry, we're going to have a picture of her. Sharp banter, slow burn tension, and that dizzying moment when everything changes. She's a pen name powered by 3 veteran authors and their favorite AI tools, blending years of storytelling with a dash of innovation. When she's not plotting disastrous first kisses or arguing about best book boyfriends, Sydney's obsessing over tropes, especially grumpy heroes, forced proximity, and every possible way to ruin and then rescue a happy ending. She has no need for sleep or caffeine, but if she did, you'd find her hoarding annotated paperbacks and laughing about rain-soaked confessions at midnight. If you love romance that's both heartwarming and a little bit wicked, Sydney's books belong on your shelf. So I just wanted to be big. We're being out that it's an AI pen name. We're doing it. We're going to get so much hate. I cannot wait. Because you know what I say, hate me while I'm cute. I'd love that we're being out front that it's an AI pen name. And we're going to be doing that with every pen name on the press. And at first, it's going to be ugly. But then it's going to be fine. And by us, allowing it to be ugly at first, it's going to pave the way for so many creatives to be able to continue to go on into the future with this new technology and still continue their careers and their livelihoods. Because I'm sorry, the courts have weighed in. Training is fair use, okay? You cannot steal books to train. You have to pay for that. So that's going to get worked out. But even the authors, I still see professionals clamoring and hoping that Anthropic is bankrupted by that decision. We don't want that. Bankrupt companies don't pay out settlements. I'll say it again. Bankrupt companies do not pay out settlements. I do think that there should be some restitution paid to the people whose books were stolen. Mine were included in that training set for LibGen 3 or whatever, the books 3 one. Even though that data set was actually snippets of books. And so that's really not the problem. The problem is that they kept storing the files that they did not pay for. So let me know in the chat what you think. We want people to be compensated for their books that were not paid for. I trust the courts to figure that out. I think that it's not going to be $80,000 a book. I don't think that that's fair. I think that that's excessive. But the thing is that this is the way the future is going. We can't stop it. And I just cannot ascribe to the anti-AI sentiment that our best solution as creatives is to just like say, kill it with fire, don't touch it, don't use it. It's too late. It's too long. My first book with artificial intelligence in it, with generative artificial intelligence in it, went out in December of 2021. It is now July 24th, 2025. It is almost 4 years old. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the whole of civilization has not crashed. So even those very first, ChatGPT did not come out until November of 2022. Does everybody remember that first year of all the doomsaying when ChatGPT came out? Oh, wait. A lot of that hasn't happened either yet. I do think that AI is getting worse in the sense of like the videos and stuff that are being shared. Like we definitely need some help on this thing, but okay. So Sydney Marsh is out. Let's go talk about how that book came about. And we'll talk a little bit about your notes for the day or for the weekend, actually. Same notes for all that. And I'm so glad that 56 people are here. Please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell if you want notifications. So you want to keep track all weekend long because I'm here for your party writing. So let's go. Okay, so I'm going to hop over to the notes. I'm getting better. Make sure you yell at me. Those of you who have my text message, those of you who have my cell phone, just text message me if I ever don't put the screen correctly, please. Yeah. Okay. So, let's talk about the classes. Okay, so here are your notes. The notes, the link is in your description, and I'll also go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm talking about standalone classes. Yes, we're doing that too. What about standalone classes? Stacy, you're more than welcome to come into the room and help me with this. I'm going to do my best. So these are all of your link. I made a handy dandy cheat sheet for all of the lives that I'll be on. I need to actually add Ikella's live on here. That's why there's that gap. Ikella will be live today at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm live again at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we have 10 a.m., 8 p.m., 10 a.m., 8 p.m. So it's going to be fun. I will not be running over. It'll be about one to 2 hours for each live. Today will be 2. Now, why won't I run over? Because I know y'all being like, oh, no, Elizabeth, you're going to run over. No, I'm not. Because you know what weekend it is? Race weekend. That's right. So for me to stay on longer means I'm already missing qualifying and the sprint qualifying to be with you guys this weekend. So I'm going to want to end it when it's time to end it so I can go watch my boys racing around Spa. Okay? Anyone else going to be catching the Belgium race this weekend, either in person or on TV? Just me? Thank you for being here for my obsession. Appreciate it. Okay. Classes. We have standalone classes this month. Your coupon code is Your First Draft, all capitalized. Okay. Now I know last month the coupon code was YFD. It's not YFD anymore, folks. It's Your First Draft, all spelled out. And we want to emphasize that we are not promising a publish ready book. It's a draft. It's a draft. It's a draft. It's a draft. Oh, and good. Danny's going to be watching the race. Maria's going to be watching the race. And TC Fictioneer, second live on same day is a repeat for different time zones or continuation. Oh, no. I don't do repeat. I continue. We continue. So if it's not a convenient time zone, watch it in because it'll be available. Watch it in the off times and keep up. Barbara's like, I'll be watching the race. Thank you. We'll be able to talk about some qualifying stuff on the live then. That's great. So now through Saturday, August 3rd, you can get 50% off the courses only, and then there's 40% off the bundle. Now, I want to be clear about this. This coupon does not work on the bootcamp or the summit, and I'll talk about those at the end here. So let's talk about the classes. You guys, N8N. Stacy has taken the time to build the N8N class for everyone. I'm going to share that tab and tab. This is N8N, build your own automations. Now, stop the endless copy and paste cycle. Start writing smarter. For those who know, we began with N8N before we built Your First Draft. Your First Draft came out of the fact that authors could sequence things inside of N8N, so I could build a schematic that I could hand over to Joe, that Joe could translate into Python, and some more razzle-dazzle stuff too. But if you have time, wherewithal, ability, desire, you can learn NAN for a one-time fee and build anything you want. Okay? So this class in particular is going to go over setting it up your own instance for unlimited usage, just $5 a month or free on your computer. So it's going to go through about how you do. And Jen BB says, if you need a new obsession, learn and go to town. Yes. And if you join the accelerator, you get access to the mastermind right away. And the mastermind has, let me preface, all these classes are available if you join the accelerator. Like the accelerator is $249 a month. You get so much with that. You get to learn from the beginning. If you're more advanced, you can immediately start learning from these classes and everything. All the standalone classes are always available to the accelerator or the mastermind peeps. There is a whole group of people who meet on their own time as a N8N. I think they meet every 2 weeks just to go over N8N and workflows and things like that. EVC is sweet. Okay. So you'll be able to make workflows, story planning to final drafts, editing systems, automated chapter creation workflows, multiple chapter loops. You're going to master their low-code platform, connecting to Google Docs, Gmail, Airtable. I'm going to warn you in advance, connecting to Google sucks. Google is the worst. It is a lot of aggravation. But you can do it. We did it. We just all have scars about it. Right, Jen? So the advantage is that you'll have agentic workflows, low-code flexibility, no monthly limits. Now, I will talk a little bit about N8N here. Copy needed says, I have a total enemies to lovers things going on with N8N. Jen says, yes, Google trauma. N8N is not perfect. None of the agentic workflows are perfect. They are still very early days. You are getting in on the ground floor if you take the time to learn these things now and get frustrated, because agentic work with AI is going to be the future. You know, we started off with prompting, we started off with mega prompting, and then like chain of thought prompting. The next step up is these very eloquent, these very like robust systems where AIs are handing different things off to each other and a human kind of like managing all of the bots. That is where the future is going for a lot of industries, ours included. Antonio says, I just joined the accelerator. The course on N8N finally decided it before it. I have it already installed on my home server for free. Claude taught me. I have some ideas of coding though. Yes. But even if you don't, if you're in the accelerator, you can come to the community classes and to the accelerator classes, and Lynn and Alyssa are there to guide you. Alyssa in particular is very good at N8N too. She can answer some questions, or she can point you in the right direction to a staff member or a class that has that advanced explanation that you need. So the accelerator is a really great program because we know it is a fire hose. So you now have guides that help you with all of that. So the N8N class, now, is this $1,000 class? No, not even at all. It is $249, but you can get it for 50% off with that code, YourFirstDraft, all spelled out. So for YourFirstDraft, all spelled out, you can get it for what, $125. And just for the same price of an accelerator for 1 month, you can get this class plus everything else that I'm about to talk about. Okay, the next class that we have available. Let me know if there's any questions in the chat about the N8N class. We have Stacy in the house, and she can answer some of those questions too. I lost my share. How rude. The next class that we have for everybody is writing series with AI. So we're going to take a look at that. This is a Steph class. Love it, love it. And this is all about taking your single mind bite set into a series empire to keep your readers coming back for more. Most of us by this point in time have mastered writing a single book with AI. You know, I would say even authors who are outside of the FFA have no problems with that, with how much free stuff that we have available on the web, on the YouTube and all of that. However, oh, Stacy's here. However, writing a series is a little bit trickier, and I'll talk with Stacy about this too, because writing a series really requires you to be that context manager, doesn't it, Stace?
Yes, that is what this is. Oh, I think I might have something else on, but yeah, that's a lot of what this class is. This one is Steph teaching it.
Mhm.
I know sometimes people prefer one or one teaching style over another. N8N is me teaching it. These other two are Steph teaching it.
Yep.
And she walks through it so wonderfully, but it is teaching the context, how to move the details through the story, through a series. It was taught a little while ago, I believe, this one. So it might have Claude 3.5, but it's the same.
I think she was using 3.7 because it was at the beginning of this month,
3.7?
right?
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
it was the other one that was 3.5. One of the two classes has 3.5, but it's the same principle.
Oh, that was the expanding a novella to a novel. That one is the older
that
one.
was the other one. Oh, yes, this is the newest. This one is
This is the newer one.
And the other one was a little older. But yes, she just did this one.
Yep. And listen, even if you don't want to write the whole book with AI, you can still use the techniques that you learned in this class to have AI help you keep your details straight about the books that you're writing. So even if you're like, I do not want to use AI to actually write the prose, just using an AI tool like Plot Drive where you're typing in it, you can use AI to query stuff to be like, what the heck is the name of that ballet for this character? And the AI can just answer it like that. So you can have your own little writing, like their co-writer is so great. And you're going to see me using it while I'm writing this series or this book that I'm going to be writing this weekend with them. So yeah, your continuity errors and everything like that. One of the best things I love to do is to throw my old books, my other books in the series in this. And what's great about it is I could be like, hey, here's like 3 books in my series and I need to write book 4. What plot elements are still like not answered? And the AI is smart enough to go through those books and be like, you left this unresolved. You have this plot point that needs to go on. Like it can actually help you brainstorm and plan that next book in the series. Evan McMahon says, which class was that? I want to link to it. The series, it is the series 1. So it's writing a series with AI. So this one, again, is this, $1,000 class? No, absolutely not. It's $129, and then you can get 50% off again with your first draft as the coupon code. And so there is that one. And then coming back to this, we have the expanding a novella into a novel. This is the one that is slightly older. It was with Claude 3.5. But I feel like this is something that people are always looking to do, right? Like, how do I take a novella that I've written and expand it into a novel with AI?
And this is perfect for your first draft. So if you use one of the 20 chapter tokens and you want to pull it out just a little bit, perfect. One class for you get to the price. This one's very low cost, but you just shows you how to add stuff in the middle without just adding fluff and while keeping your same voice. The AI, it always wants to like add more. Okay, she sat around and thought about her day, she had some lunch, they met up or they just did a slightly different version of what happened in the last 3 chapters. Like in my mafia romances, they would always they'd be kidnapped, saved, add something else. Okay, she was kidnapped and saved exactly the same way, maybe by some new character. Like,
right.
Come on, man, we got to do something different.
Yeah. AI can get repetitive very quickly if you let it do all the plotting with no input. And it also comes up with like silly plotting, like the book that we're going to talk about this morning that I'm going to start working on. And I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek about it. It involves bridesmaids and bourbon. The first thing that the AI said is she rented the wrong party bus. And I'm like, how the heck did she rent the wrong party bus? That doesn't make that does not, like, this goes back to the AI with those sex scenes and the serial killer scene of where like all of her limbs are cut off, but she found the resolve to fight back and bit his wrist. Like sometimes the AI doesn't actually live in our, it doesn't live in our world.
On the wrong party bus.
You can get on the wrong party bus, but you can't rent the wrong party bus and end up
rent a wrong stripper. I don't know.
I don't know, but the idea, the premise is that she gets separated from the bridal party, and I'm like, that's not going to result from renting the wrong party bus, but from like getting your butt on the wrong party bus.
There we go. Yeah.
Luke Kirk says, continuity is one of my biggest issues, especially with my longest series, 14 books so far. I had to rewrite 2 chapters this week because I messed up details. Well, I'm glad you caught it, Lee, because I have a series where a character may have changed names every single book. So instead, I just made him a fraud so that it worked. That was early days. I was back like early days in the 2010s. But I was like, I am not rewriting all of these books and republishing them. So I hear you, Lee.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Forget about something I wrote last week, last month, last year. And if I wrote something in between then, gone forever. Like, I can't keep those details in my head.
Okay. Now you have made the ultimate bundle. Sequence and automate bundle. 2 classes to help you sequence and automate your prompts. So this is the N8N class, and then it's built with the building better sequences of prompts with RaptorWrite. So that RaptorWrite's free, y'all. It's still free to use. So is PlotDrive. You can use the same technology there that you learn about for RaptorWrite. So talk to me about this, Stacey. What, like, if I invest 175, no, it's going to be 40% off, right? So it's like 199 or something like that.
It was 210.
210.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
because the bundle already has like 20% built in. So if I gave him 50% off, it was like a ridiculous amount.
I think $210 is ridiculous. I did not get to participate in the pricing this month, just so you know. That's why these are cheaper, just so you know.
Elizabeth was too busy, so
yeah.
So with the N8N class, I show you how to set everything up in N8N, and we go over like what is a sequence a little bit, but I don't go into like the foundations of how do you create a good sequence of prompts. I kind of assume you like have a set of prompts.
If you're in N8N, you know it.
Yeah, you know it. You like, I always start with like creating my characters, then moving on to this, then moving on to that. And I show you kind of how to test it, how to do a little bit, but that is not the focus of the N8N class. The sequencing class, that is the focus. Yeah. How do you create a repeatable set? Repeatable? Repeatable.
I like repeatable, but yeah, it's repeatable.
set of prompts, set of steps that you can use over and over and over again, regardless of the system, in RaptorWrite, in a notebook, in N8N, wherever you use it, Rexy 1. Oh God. It's still out there. It still works.
It's still out there. He's still roaring. He did not go extinct.
Yep. But where you can just have regardless of how you use it, just to create the foundation and the framework. So if you struggle with like, great, I want to set it up, but also what do I put into these prompts?
Yeah.
Like you see these massive, flow charts, like that's great. I could set that up. I understand the framework of this goes into that, but what are the prompts here? Mm-hmm. That class, and then putting them together will help you build the framework and then build it in N8N.
Yes, N8N wait, let's read the question. Is N8N for automating tasks? It's not creating a multi-prompt for books, is it? That'd be sequencing?
It can do both. Yeah. So it is automating tasks. You could use it for sending out emails. You can use it for making a customer service bot on a website. But it does have AI functionality, so you can create prompts in it. That's why we chose N8N over some of the other, this is actually a module in N8N, or in the class, why we chose it over some of the other ones. But it does have a lot of AI functionality so that you can create a full sequence of prompting for, just like you would with Rexy 1, with Your First Draft, with anything. It's a sequence of prompts,
but it's visual.
Yes, but it's a visual.
Mark, we get a Mark.
Ask a question.
Okay, a few minutes.
I'm dying to know his question now.
Oh Lord, it's.
We'll wait till after. We'll mute the mic. Find out the question so we find out.
One time it was, what happens if a smoke detector detects something other than smoke?
Yeah.
So you guys noodle on that, let me know. But I never did figure that out.
I don't know if it's.
So what?
Someone to
Yeah. What I would say about N8N and everything like this is that it is, there's people on YouTube who've even used it to like, it can check your email and it can draft an email response that is in your email inbox so that you can just like, you can like read the email and then the drafted response is right there that you can just tweak. Like you can literally turn it into like your own executive admin or whatever. I mean, it is, like I said, the future is definitely agentic work, and we are at the very nascent beginnings of this. So it's never been about, you're still muted, or no, you're not. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. As an example for what we did in the class, and the way I taught it in the class, rather than like this node does that node does that, that's boring. I gave you a whole sheet of notes on what does what. Feel free to use that as reference, but we went through it by actually building some workflows. And we started by, creating a chapter brief. And then we actually had it stop and wait. It sent me an email, said, hey, go check out this document, make any changes you want, and then click this button when you're ready to keep going. And then it brought in my changes, wrote the chapter. I didn't repeat any steps because what's the point? We've already learned it, but you could have had it stop and edit chapter 1. And then from there, we made a loop where it does this. Then we used an agent to edit chapter 1, an agentic workflow to edit chapter, or first we made an editing plan, made an agentic workflow to edit it. And then we created a loop.
All of the edits.
Yeah.
Is there, you teach about how like you can actually have the AI say it's okay to go on to the next step?
Yep. So
that's huge. I did not teach that on YouTube. So
yep, there are several branches. You can have it say it's okay, move on. Nope, it needs editing. Here's what needs to be edited. And basically it splits the workflow based on what the agent determines. And then it performs the action. And then we have loops where it then, after you create chapter 1, who knows, you can have anywhere from, 5 to 50 more chapters. Maybe not 50, 5 to 30 more chapters. I don't know, 40. But then based on that, it will create loops. And at the end, it uses an agent that will then say, hey, are there any more chapters in the outline? If yes, keep going back. Did it mess up the last chapter? Like, did it repeat it? Did it put out gobbledygook? If yes, send you an email, say, hey, come check on this. If it's finished the outline, send you an email, hey, it's done. So we worked through a lot of that, and everything goes
we
right.
have plans to take some of these techniques and include them in your first draft as like an extra, like the next step. So everything that we do in the FFA, the way that it kind of comes up for development is one of us will have a wild hair idea, and it may not even be the founders anymore. We are now at the point that members of the mastermind will be like, hey, I have this great idea. For example, Joe was like, I'm messing with MCP servers. Elizabeth, you need to look at this. And I'm like, dude, I do not have time. I do not have any more time. Like the brain is full right now. And then we had Rebecca and Carlo start doing MCP servers. Rebecca shared some of her findings with people, but she doesn't like to teach. She doesn't teach classes yet, or she doesn't like to teach. So Carlo's like, can I teach classes on this? I'm like, please. So we just had a whole set of classes in the mastermind about MCP servers with Typing Mind, for example. So, and you can get access to that again. More classes coming. So everything happens as an incubator. It happens there where we start figuring it out. And then once we have it figured out, then we start stress testing the snot out of it. And once we have stress tested it enough, then we start figuring out how do we put this into a piece of software, like a boutique piece of software, to make it easier for authors to do this without having to do all of the crazy settings that we had to do. And that's literally been the birth of Rexy. Rumi and Dino Trainer are available when you're in the the accelerator or mastermind. Rumi will take a whole. I didn't really talk about this very much because we built it, but we were so busy on your first draft. But Rumi will take your entire novel and just take it and turn it into a data set for you to make a fine tune. Like that software is now available to accelerator and mastermind members, and there's a class on it. So there's just so much we've been doing in the last couple of months. I can't even keep up with everything. It's all y'all's fault. Okay. So back to a little bit more. We have a little bit more to cover about what we're bringing to you guys this month, because it is a lot. So we got through all of the bundles, and that is the end of where the coupon code ends. So your first draft works on every single one of those courses, and it also works on the bundle, 50% and 40%.
Yep.
Now,
3
let's
courses,
talk
one bundle, that's it. That's where the coupon stops.
Yes, that's where the coupon stops. So let's talk about your first draft bootcamp, because we had a lot of questions about this. Is this for mastermind and accelerator users?
Scroll down just slightly on this page.
Do not purchase this course. Okay. So here's what's going on. Mel and Joe have been working tirelessly on the back end to like completely redo the back end architecture of your first draft. When your first draft went out in alpha, literally 1 month ago tomorrow, we learned a lot. Okay. There are over, I'm going to find out really fast. I don't even know how many projects there are anymore. Do you?
No, a lot.
There's like over 400 projects the last time I looked. A project is a book, for everyone who's wondering. It's either like a short or a full novel or novella. So we opened up your first draft to accelerator and mastermind members. So that was a pool of authors that's about 300 people were eligible to use it in the last month. And they have 1 more month of head start. So don't worry, they heard this from me in 25 and 25. I was like, start using your free tokens. Do not wait. Do not sit on it. Start learning it now. Is it buggy? Yeah. But we need it to be buggy so that we can fix it. So that we can because nobody's built something like this before that I'm aware of that actually gives the author control of the prompting. I'm not talking about these other, magic wand, bookalizer, book machine things that are out there that, have a faceless person who developed it. There's no classes on it or anything like that. And when you go to use it, you can't even see what the prompt is. In your first draft, you get a complete log of all of the prompts that ran and exactly what models they used. So you can literally use your first draft for 1 and then go take those skills and go just use it on your own with those models. So the boot camp, it is only for people who are not in the mastermind and not on the accelerator. So if you are not on the accelerator, not on the mastermind, and you want to be part of the next group of people who have access to your first draft, this is for you. We only have 100 spots. Why do we only have 100 spots? You want to explain, Stacy? Or you want me to be the mean one?
Yes. So this is an expanded stress test.
Yes.
So we started stress testing with just our staff, which is 12 people. We tested the snot out of it, but 12 people can only test so hard, so much. So we opened it up to the mastermind, 300 or mastermind accelerator. That's 300 people. Not everybody jumped in right away, but several hundred. Some people jumped in multiple times and just keep getting out of the pool and diving back in.
I would say we have about 50 people, I think, actively using your first draft. They're just some people, like if Harper wants to reveal in the chat how many projects she has already finished.
I was just about to say, if we want to see how many projects there are in your first draft, just ask Harper how many she did and double it, maybe. I don't know.
Jen goes, some of us are really great at finding weird ways to break things. And here's the thing, Jen, yeah, exactly. Jen is one of our great people. If you're a member of the accelerator or mastermind, she holds a class on Sundays. We're going to work on getting some community classes and all of that. Will those people need to join the accelerator? No.
Nope. This is just for using and learning your first draft. And the good thing is, if you join this class, yes, you will be kind of in the early stages. There will be a little bit of but bugs and frequent updates, everything like that. But you will have the say in how a much bigger say in how the software is developed.
Yes.
Just like any software, when it's first getting developed, I don't like this, or this didn't work. Can we do this? Like, we are the final say in how everything turns out. But if things aren't working, we're going to take input early. Once it's fully developed and you say, I want blue instead of red, you know what? That's
learn to like blue, learn to like red.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
learn to like red
on the priority list right now.
Although,
So,
truthfully, with your first draft, we are such authors. You guys can change your colors in the top. Like we are not developers where we're like, this is the prescribed branding. It was like, no. If you like lime, like choose a different thing. Oh my gosh, Harper goes, I currently have 11 projects and I just bought more tokens the other day. Now, Harper's a rock star on her own. She has that amazing romance outline class and everything. Like y'all are familiar with Harper's work in AI. Harper, I'm curious. Were you doing 11 projects in 1 month with AI before your first draft? Just out of curiosity, because I don't think you were, love. I don't think you were. And I understand. I did five projects in a day once, and because I was stress testing it. Eldon says, I'm close to spinning my book. I just wanted to make sure the worksheet was satisfactory. I'm writing a book that should be 170K and 120K hard cap. So I'm still learning on how to make that work. I don't think it's a hard cap of one. Like, hold tight, Eldon. Let's talk afterwards, because we've moved to a scenario. There's some blueprints that are a new version. This goes back to the thing. A new version that we're going to be able to go beyond 120K. So, yeah. Hold tight, sir. Hold tight.
100% not even close.
100% not even close. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
real quick, just for the question that people may or may not be or not asking but thinking, you don't need to be an AI enthusiast, really AI forward, really that adept. You should have, obviously, if you're watching us, you're at least somewhat versed in it, but you don't have to be all that, like the software is doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
But you should be, especially at this stage, at least technologically literate, comfortable using new technology. Like the UI isn't as smooth and polished as it could be. So you just have to be okay with clicking buttons, looking around new software. But in general, you don't have to be like, if you look at N8N and go, man, this ain't for me, don't worry. You don't have to do anything like that in your first draft.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be top tier mastermind anything level. You just have to be okay with experimenting with some new software.
You know, you should be an author. You should have a creative mind. You should be able to do the basic things that an author does when you're working with your first draft. There's the part where you are real. It really injects you is when you're building the story, and so that's the part that you need to be good at. And then we'll walk you through the rest inside of the your first draft class that is included in the credits.
Yeah. So that is the boot camp. There are 86 seats left. I fully expect this thing to sell out possibly by the end of this weekend because of everything that I'm going to be showing here over the weekend and today. I'm keeping an eye on the time to make sure that we can get started soon. And then the last thing I want to talk about for our most advanced users is the summit. Ikello has talked a lot about the summit. You were just live with Evan. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Day before on Tuesday.
Gotcha. So you can look at that one. Everybody knows Bad Evan very well. So if you're like, I'm past the boot camp, I've been writing books. I would not recommend the FFA Publishing Summit unless you have already published books. This is not for you if you've never published a book. It's just really not. It is for people who have been publishing books and now they want to figure out, how do I make it profitable? How do I run this like a business? How do I position my books like what the FFA did? We literally put a book out and made a couple $100s from it with absolutely no advertising. We did nothing but put the book out in the wild. Am I wrong, Stacey?
Yeah, actually, we were thinking about delisting it and moving it, so we purposefully didn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah, we purposely told no one just to see who the heck would find it. And I did this too for the mastermind and the accelerator. It's coming down. I'm moving all my stuff off of my account and moving it to the press account. But there's a Liz Schilling book that is like Gears of Fate, and it was a little 12,000 episodic, like season, like just like episode 1. We literally like finalized it in a day. I showed everyone how I threw it up there by just putting it in the right categories with the right cover. I didn't show anyone the link or anything like that, but then I was able to show them how, look, it automatically got some sales because it's properly blurbed, it's properly covered, and it's in the right categories. And then I even got reviews from people who are not in the mastermind who gave it 5 stars and were like, I can't wait for the next one. Publishing is a skill. It is a skill. It is not a work of your heart. It is not the moment where you're like, I really want my book to be for everyone. It's for everyone from 18 to 72 who loves all genres. No, it is not. It is a specific genre. It is a specific, like, you've got to serve the people who are going to love your book the most first, and then you can worry about everybody else. And Evan is going to teach you how to do that. Evan's going to teach you how to make pen names, make the pipeline, have the revenue ready infrastructure, and make you a publisher.
Super exciting. And remember, everyone, this is a 26-week course. It's 26 weeks long. It's every Sunday. You have a live with Evan. There are the first 10 people got 5 hours of coaching with him. The second 10 people got 2 hours of coaching. The third set of 10 people, which is what we're in right now still, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's 3 spots left in that.
Yes, 3 spots
20,
left.
28, 29, and 30. So 27 spots have already sold on that thing. And there's a limit of that one at 50.
Yep. And so all of those people between 20 and 30, they get 1 hour, and everyone up to 40 gets their book analyzed by Evan's software machine. And believe you me, he has quite the machine to do it. And so he's going to go in there and comprehensively figure out what are some of the first steps that you need with a specific piece of what do you call it? IP, a book, a specific book, and give you a real nice roadmap on how to deal with that specific book. And that's all the way up to 40. I'm pretty sure that's all of the bonuses. The last 10 people, if you want to come in.
The last 10 people, you should have been there sooner.
You should have been there sooner.
The last 10 people, you get the class. You made it. You got in there. But I mean, truthfully, Evan is very generous and very giving. Like, I'm not saying that he's going to be abused, because he won't put up with that unless he's asking for it.
He's not that man.
Why is it whenever there's a conversation with or about Evan, I turn bright red?
It's because in front of it is the word bad. So everyone, you can go over to the Future Fiction Academy. The links are in the description below. It's the Publishing Summit, which is a $5,000 value over 26 weeks. You can get in there, and remember, if you know, if get the corn out of there.
No, if you know, you know.
Yes,
but if you know, you know.
Oh my gosh. And if you want to, there's a way for you to pay for it in installments through Klarna. Do me a favor, though. The way that it's set up, I meant to tell you this, Stacy. The way it's set up, they don't immediately know where the Klarna thing is. So what I want y'all to do is, when you go all the way through to the pay page where you're actually paying, and then there'll be a drop down, a little thing there for Klarna, so that you can get in and use it. But a couple of people asked me, they were like, I don't know where it is. I'm like, go all the way through.
Yeah, that's a teachable thing. Like, we can't.
But I want to stress this, okay? Know thyself. Know where you are, okay? Buying a $5,000 publishing summit when you have not done anything in publishing, you have not finished your first book, does not suddenly make you more serious or more likely to be successful. In fact, I think it might do the opposite. If
there are a couple of people in there that have their books written but don't have them published and are very excited about it, but those are the not the rule, y'all. Those are the exception, not the rule. So know thyself, like Elizabeth says. Don't overextend. Bad Evan's like the biggest proponent of this because he a businessman.
Yes.
So
I'm going to go so far as to say, as EAW, you should have made some kind of revenue from your writing before you go by the publishing summit. If you've not made a single penny from your writing in some way, shape, or fashion, and I'm talking about you've never sold something on spec, you've never made a YouTube channel, you've never had something where like advertising money was going, you haven't had a Patreon, you haven't put a book up, if you've done none of that, I'm not so sure that the publishing summit is where you want to start. Unless you are like somebody who can invest $5,000 and it's not a hardship. And I'm going to stress that because Evan would say the same thing.
Yep.
This is not a get rich quick scheme.
And Evan will be the first
one to tell you that.
We keep trying to say that. I have a short that's coming out today or tomorrow. It's like, this is not about getting rich quick. This is about hard work, being a self-starter, and doing your stuff right from the beginning. So.
Yeah, if you're someone that $5,000 is not a hardship and you are the type of person that likes to know the steps before you jump into them, by all means, like you've been told you know what you're getting into, it's going to be fast and quick, keep up, but that's your decision. But if it's something where $5,000 would strap you, would be something that's just not freely available in your budget, then
we have so many other things that appeal to your budget level that you can work your way up to that level. And we don't know that Evan's going to do this again.
Yeah, we do not.
Evan's not the only one in the FFA with experience of building six-figure publishing companies. Just so you know.
We're just not necessarily going to do this over a 26-week period like this.
No.
This is a big deal. This is a big deal. But I really do not want people putting themselves in financial dire straits to try to afford $5,000. Nope.
Because here's what's not going to happen with that program. Oh, I overextended myself, and is there any way for me to get a scholarship? And no.
Nah, not that one.
We have other things that are available for people who have more time than money. And I'm very harsh about that. Because I get very upset about the people who are like, give me $2,000 and it's a get rich quick scheme. That's not what this is. And the other thing I was going to say about why there's only 100 people on the boot camp.
No, please tell them. Tell them. Tell them.
I don't know how this is going to go, y'all. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in the past, when we have opened up the FFA of like wide open, everybody come, it's like with the token. And meanwhile, I'm trying to teach like fine tunes.
Yeah.
And
there is a customer service aspect that we have.
There is an educational support aspect.
Yes.
That we are anticipating. So I don't want you to look at the YFD boot camp and being like, well, I can't do that because I'm not part of the mastermind. I'm not part of the accelerator. I'm looking for you to be someone who has used a chat bot. Okay. I'm looking for you to be someone who likes story and understands story structure if you're looking at the boot camp. And I say because I am kind of the point person on the boot camp. It's my baby. So what we're going to walk you through at the boot camp, let's talk about that. You're going to start off with a completely free little 5-chapter, bad writing, just to start learning the mechanics. We're going to be using Nano. We are going to be using very fast models that are dumber than rocks and not going to write good content because it's just to get you comfortable, and it's completely free. It's just to get you comfortable with the mechanics of the software. Then, are you going to spend your 4 tokens? Nope, not even yet. You will have a pre-activated project in your account that is an open canvas schematic blueprint. Doesn't make sense to you right now. It's a genre neutral. Blueprint. Okay. And I'm going to have 2 to 3 different genres demonstrated in the class. I'm hoping for. We'll see. That will walk you through step by step about how to modify that genre neutral worksheet blueprint into whatever you need. That's 20 chapters. And that is completely complimentary. That is a bonus that comes with this boot camp. Okay. So you basically everybody gets the like 5-chapter, like nobody cares. And for my people in the accelerator mastermind, you can use your free token that you get every month to follow along with that class for the genre neutral one, to do your own genre neutral thing too. Then you have 4 tokens. Now, everybody's been asking about this. Tokens, while we are in beta, are $75. $75. I think I put the pricing on the notes, but maybe I did not. No, I think I was writing an email about that. Okay. So tokens are $75. Eventually, those prices will go up. Not for mastermind and accelerator people, but eventually the people on the outside, it will go up probably next year. However, you can buy tokens at this price point and the discounts as much as you want, at least through the end of this year. We don't anticipate raising the price anytime before the end of this year. So $75 for one token, $700 for 10 tokens, and then it is $1,300 for 20 tokens. I tried the free run and the regular token. The free one did go off the rails, so be prepared. It changed my point of view from dual first to dual third. Lee Kirk, are you talking about the 5-chapter training one? That's what I think she's talking about. Because that's the only free one that's available right now.
Yeah.
That one is using a dumb model, and we tell people this. The whole point of that is just to get you
to learn
the schematics where there's no stakes. There's no stakes. It's not going to work. You're not going to break it. Your goal here is just to make it run. So there's no pressure, and you can do that one over and over and over as you want. I mean, people have been hammering on it, and I think it's cost us 52 cents so far. So I mean, that's why it's the free one. Because we didn't have it when we first launched, and everybody was afraid to touch anything. Like they were like, it's going to explode if I touch the wrong thing. So that's why we had to make no, you can press the buttons. It's not going to explode. If it does explode, we have a way to bring it back all together again.
So using the cheapest of the cheapo models, just so you can keep hitting that roulette wheel over and over, and we don't care. Just see what the buttons do. It won't break anything.
Get comfortable with it.
Or if it breaks something, we got Joe. Joe loves to fix broken stuff. We break stuff all the time.
We do break stuff all the time. It's a great time.
Actually, he would prefer to find it before we deploy it to 5,000 people. This is another reason. This is another reason, y'all. We're only going with 100 people because we really do only have a certain amount of capacity to take care of people who are having issues. So once we become a much more robust company, maybe we will be able to do a lot more broader thing. Once you learn how to create a good story dossier for the free one, it's really easy to take it into Plot Drive and run all of the same prompts with a smart model.
Yes. We're really bad at business people. We make it easy for everyone to use our technology and our knowledge and our expertise however they would like to use it. You can pay for convenience and it's faster. And that's what I envision the genre-specific blueprints to be. Once you understand the genre-neutral blueprint of how to make it changes and all that, you're like, oh, I don't want to make all those changes. But now you can go get the blueberry monster crumble and you're doing monster romance, and you know that you only have to change like 15% of the worksheet, not the whole thing. So the genre-specific blueprints become your next shortcut. But you can't use shortcuts if you don't know the long way. It's like you can't use a calculator if you don't learn long division by hand first. Because how would you know if the calculator gave you a wrong answer?
Correct.
Jen BB says, that's the coolest part. Using YFD doesn't just make books. It helps you learn how to do great things inside or outside the tool. I agree. And there's another value to your first draft as well. And one thing that the 5 chapters, Danny says the 5 chapters helped a lot. Sometimes the best thing that AI can do for you is show you what you do not want.
Oh my gosh. Big time.
Sometimes,
ask us how we know.
Yeah, ask us how we know. Be like, oh, I ran that whole 20 chapters. I don't like it.
Oh, that's just bad.
But you know what? I couldn't have gotten to that where I don't like it as fast as I did if I didn't see the thing I didn't like first. I would still be ruminating on the story idea if I didn't first see the thing I didn't like.
Yeah, it gives me the outline and I'm like yelling at it. No, this is supposed to happen. Oh, yeah, this is supposed to happen.
But you didn't know that was supposed to happen, or you would have put it in the first place.
shouting at Claude and insulting his mother. And then I realized, like, yeah, that's what's supposed to happen.
Stacy, you're the first to go in the
I was just going to say, you are in so much trouble when they
you are
take
the
over.
first to go.
I've
You got your rucksack ready?
My rucksack, I'm ready to go. In the wilderness.
Zara Chen in Willow Creek with a forked tongue. and little did she know her life was going to change forever.
And little did she know.
Little did she know.
Hey, you 65 people in here. I know for a fact, because I was just looking at the count on the likes. I know all of y'all haven't liked this video. So do me a favor right this second, right now. Go ahead. Go right down there. Hit it. Hit that little arrow. There's a little arrow right there. Even it's on your phone, it's on your screen. Hit that like button right now. We want to get this out to as many people as we possibly can, because there are only 100 slots left, y'all. There are less than 100. There's like what?
There might be less now.
I mean, there is. I just saw definitely less. So you should definitely hit the like button right now, every one of you, so that we can get this out to as many people as possible, because we don't want them to miss out on this opportunity. This is a opportunity to really jumpstart whatever publishing business that you have right now. This is an investment in your publishing business. You'll be able to put out 1, 2, 3 different types of books, figure out what's a good book, and because it's selling a certain amount, and then really concentrate on that particular line of books, and then you can move on to other stuff. This isn't about your babies. This isn't about the thing you cherish. This isn't about I must hold this Fabergé egg as carefully. This is not that. This is you working your business. Okay.
This is new pulp fiction.
Yep. And it'll be better, because those people were trying their best just to get through the moments as fast as they could. And this will give you an opportunity to actually delve into certain scenes and get arcs right, and make sure character development is happening, and all of the things working to the tropey end that everybody wants, which is called satisfaction. They want to be satisfied at the end. They want to be entertained at the end of the book.
All right. Well, we are 7 minutes past the hour. We're a little bit behind. That's because I'm going to catch up.
All right.
I'm going to dip out, since that is.
I also should probably leave you to your own devices, because I have a live stream at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm the middle. We made her stop doing these 3, y'all.
I can't do 3 in a day. I can't.
She came to this wonderful self-realization, and we all kind of had a little tear in our eye. So
it's 2 enough.
One's
enough. 0's enough. Whatever. You're the boss. You choose what's enough.
Yeah, you choose what's enough. But we've watched her stretch herself too thin when we do these 2 hour days. 2 hour.
Let me explain something to everyone. Okay. Yes, I know I have autoimmune issues and all that, and I'm out here living my best life. I love what I do. I genuinely do.
Yes, she is.
I don't regret any moment that I have pushed myself too hard, because what's happening, it's killing me not to be able to be public about some of the things that are happening behind the scenes. But when I say it's a big thing, it is a huge thing that is happening behind the scenes. And even if it's not us, even if it's a big thing that we don't go through with, somebody else is gonna. And so when I say time is up, I'm being honest with you. Time is very close to being up on becoming an author who is AI enhanced.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Alyssa. On at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
I'm sorry, 1 Pacific. Yeah, 4 Eastern. So everyone, definitely come join me. We're going to be going through Your First Draft. I'm going to build a brand spanking new book today. So come.
Actually, could you guys stay for 1 more minute so I can refresh my coffee?
Yeah.
Because I'll probably run a little bit over today, because there is not F1 stuff today.
Already lying.
We're late.
Day.
Wait a minute.
First live stream. Go get your coffee, and we're gonna
go get my.
There's no F1 today, huh?
Yeah. but I swear I'm not going to run over. I have
Yeah, but
Yeah,
luckily
no,
she's
I
not back
do.
until 8
Yeah,
this evening and her time. So
nope, doesn't matter. That was her
not with her, not
more
with
up
her.
and down, and first live stream of the first day. She's not barely out of the first hour. She's already breaking that promise. So,
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Hey,
yep,
Stacy.
yes.
So, what has been your most recent experience with your first draft? What are you writing with it right now?
Right now, I am writing medical romance for the press.
What type of medical romance is it? Like EMP,
Yeah,
emergency,
I, that would actually
whatever.
be a post-apocalyptic medical romance would be interesting with the
Oh,
EMP.
oh, that would be. How do you save people's lives when you don't have any of your electronic equipment to do it?
But no,
Ooh.
it's yep, ER, doctor and our male hot shot surgeon, female intern, forbidden romance because they work together.
Mm.
So
And you got the whole thing drafted?
yep, I've got it drafted. I'm in editing now. So book 2 would be next.
So, all right. So in that case, let's just talk just really briefly. What is your, because I know what my experience is with it lately. What is your experience as far as quality at the end of the chapter dump? EMT. Thank you, thank you, Jen. EMP. Anyway,
Yeah.
what
One
is it?
thing you really have to learn about your first draft is that not only is it a draft, we will say that over and over and over. Do not expect to take this out and throw it up into Amazon, but it
Please don't do that.
also, please don't do that. Or I don't know, send it off to your friends, but don't put it up, just don't put it up for sale. It is a draft. You need a person, but it's also the quality is most dependent on, just like in programming, what is it?
Garbage
Ego?
in,
Garbage
ego,
in,
ego,
garbage out.
garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. So the story components, if you don't really flesh out your outline, I got a little bit of a mushy middle, and I looked at my outline, and my outline was mushy in the middle. I should have fleshed it out better. And I went, oops, that was on me. So I have a little more editing heft to do because I didn't spend a shorter amount of time to flesh out the outline. Now I have to spend longer to flesh out the prose. I'll learn for next time. Even after teaching it, I still do it. I'm not an outliner, but I should have spent a little more time there. But the longer you spend on, or the fuller you get those components, I won't say the longer you spend on them, because some people can do that real quick. Some people need longer, but the fuller your components, the more you give the AI, the better the output product. Elizabeth is really good. It just blows me away. She doesn't need to, like, just sits there and bloop, 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 bloop. Here's a phenomenally fleshed out outline. My brain
That's
doesn't
actually,
work.
yeah, that's a very good point. Everyone, Elizabeth is an outlier. I know she's in the room right now, and we're talking about her as if she's not, but she is an outlier
her
in her intelligences are applied to this particular endeavor in a very, very, very kind of heightened, honed way. So she does things in ways, and you watch her do them, and you go, "Oh my God, I wish, oh, maybe I could do it." You can't necessarily do it that way. Sometimes you got to continually validate, get into the stuff, find your own taste in these things, and get the story that you need out of that dossier. Okay, you got to make real story. You got to get in there. You got to do the work. Okay, got to validate. You got to validate. Okay, that's it.
So that is my biggest experience with your first draft. The more you really make sure those story components, and Elizabeth, I'm sure you've shown it or will show it, what goes into your first draft to make the draft is the biggest variable for success on the type of draft you get out. If you're
It's
not
like
satisfied with your output consistently, go look at your input.
Yeah.
We're starting completely from scratch today on Bridesmaids and Bourbon. And I meant to have more stuff like ready to go, but I didn't. So
That's better because
I know. I always get insecure about this because I'm like, it's like watching paint dry. They're not gonna like what I'm doing.
They do.
You know, but I'm setting that aside and I'm acknowledging that you guys do like to watch me work and talk out what I'm doing. And so we're going to do that. It's going to be a very fun story. And that's what we're working on this weekend. So I'm going to get started with explaining what we did with No Sleep to Brooklyn and how that went, because we're literally running a new experiment live. So we're going to be doing a No Sleep to Brooklyn, basically, on the live stream over this weekend. That's what my plan is. So I'm going to explain what we did for Snowstorms and Schnapps. And that way we have this like documented thing of showing like how this whole process has really morphed over the last year for creatives. So Mania, when your genre is the number one genre.
I'm with you, Mania.
I had so many men that night in No Sleep to Brooklyn who I converted to romance readers. I just have to say.
Yeah, well, I was one of them. I was one of them. I ain't even gonna lie. I really was into that story. Oh my gosh, I was into that story. Anyway, I was like, maybe I should put more romance in my own science fiction. That's what I did.
I have my little question machine up here again, so I am ducking out.
All right.
Give him a hug for me if he'll let you.
And I'm gonna go take a bunch of stuff to Goodwill and do a nice long walk with my dog. And I will see all of you at 4 p.m. Pacific. 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific. See you back here.
I might be off by then.
You will be off by then. You will be off by then. You will be off by then. I promise she will be.
I'll at least have to go to the restroom.
All right. And if anybody was looking for that interview with AutoCrit again, we've postponed it until August. So I took it completely off the books. We're gonna get back to her in August.
Yeah, she's very unwell. She's not like it's coming.
Yeah, she needs to she needs to get better. All right. See you, Elizabeth.
Bye. Okay. Now that all the naysayers are gone, it's time for the positivity.
Hey.
I'm so excited. But bye. Listen, you have to live your life, whether you tell yourself you can or you can't, you're right. So if someone tells you that you can't do this, prove them wrong. That's fun. Okay. So let's talk about No Sleep Till Brooklyn. This is in your notes and we're going to go over it together. So I'm going to share my screen again. Your Y2D-palooza. And it's right here, the first easy peasy book machine book completed. So we're going to talk about this really fast. So many of you know, we've talked about the easy peasy book machine before. I'm actually going to put myself lower here so that it's nice and big. The easy peasy book machine, I was literally sitting in San Francisco in February of 2024. And that's where I started sketching out kind of like the firm schematic of how to loop these prompts and everything like that. All of this, by the way, is in that, sequencing class that Stacy taught and everything. And we just iterated and built off of it and built off of it. That by October 6th, it was one of the first Madness of EAW classes. And it was named for a theme song of No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Many of us are Gen Xers or late millennials or young boomers. And, we got a little bit of punk rock in us. We got a little bit of punk to us. For over 6 hours, over 40 of us sat in a Zoom room. And we worked tirelessly to see what it took to go from story dossier to finished Insta-love novella. And that resulting book is now available for pre-order on Amazon. So if you join the mastermind, you actually get access to the raw AI that spit out from that before it was even edited. So you can actually see the difference. Is the software used in your first draft available for purchases of the class after the class completes? Yeah. So once you join the boot camp, you are in on your first draft. You have access to it permanently. Okay. We are slowing. We're staggering the access to this so that we can stress test it and everything like that. But you'll be able to buy more tokens, and the tokens are $75. You can literally get more novellas, drafts like that in less than an hour for $75 a pop. That's literally what we have made. Okay. So let's go over what the original goal was. The original goal of this is how we do experiments and stuff inside of the mastermind, by the way, from time to time. This is a good example of what, if you ever see Madness of EAW on the schedule, I'm usually doing something like this, where I have some kind of problem or goal with AI that I'm trying to figure out. Sometimes I have it figured out beforehand, or a little bit glimmers figured out beforehand. A lot of times we're figuring it out together, because I didn't used to do it that way, but everybody likes it that way. So that's why I do it that way now. So this is what we were after last October. 10-chapter Insta-love romance that a human would read the final chapters and make only 5 minutes worth of changes per chapter. I'll say again, 10-chapter Insta-love romance that a human would read the final chapters and make only 5 minutes worth of changes per chapter. That was the goal. What's okay? Minor continuity that takes 1 minute to fix. Cutting the last 1 to 2 lines or paragraph of bowitis. So I'm okay with, I want to change that first line, or I want to change the last line. That is an easy fix. I actually put that akin to, like, I change my human written intros all the time. Like that's a normal change that you have to do. It can have more AI-isms than a human would write, but not the most egregious. So couldn't help but is fine if you don't stumble or notice it when you're reading. And it needs to be a level of enjoyment of 8 to 10. Does everybody agree with the okay method, the okay list of what is okay when you're talking about AI automation? What quality are we looking for as creatives to be coming out for us to actually start playing with? That's the quality level that I want. What's not okay? Starting with Sun. Lack of emotional response as a reader. If I'm reading this and I don't feel anything for the characters, there's a problem. There's a disconnect there. Entire conversations that need to be edited for echolalia, logic, and characterization. So we saw this a lot in like early days of 4.0, in some of the earlier models, where it would be, full of as you know bobs and full of like, Serena, you really can't go to the ball tonight. Go to the ball tonight. I wasn't planning to go to the ball tonight. I'm going to stay up in my room. Yes, make sure you stay up in your room. Do not go to the ball. And you're like, how many times are these characters going to say do not go to the ball? And then lo and behold, Serena is slipping out her window, right? Anybody remember that being kind of like de facto AI writing in the early days of last year? I could probably still get it if I go look at old model. Another big problem that we had back last year, not following the outline. Following the outline is a new skill for the AI, and it's not always, Claude doesn't like to follow the outline, so we'll see about that. We also used to have a lot of big problems with looping. Harper says, yes, it was bad. Yeah, Serena, don't go to the ball tonight. Go to the ball tonight? I'm not going to the ball tonight. I'm going to stay in my room. Gosh, the dialogue used to make me want to like stab my eyes. So not following the outline and looping. Our first efforts at sequencing novels or sequencing long works is we would get large chunks of repeated sections over and over and over again. That actually still does happen if you don't have good planning. If you try to run 20 chapters without a story dossier in there, it'll write you a book. But when you read it, you'll see like entire sections are repeated because it just kind of gets stuck on it gets like a record, like skipping, and it just kind of keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. Anybody run into that with Claude projects or Claude when you're writing and it just keeps kind of writing the same thing over and over again, so you realize you have to start a new chat in order to get it off its whatever it's hyperfixated on? Yeah, hyperfixation is a thing. We also wanted no overly flowery writing style that's pervasive throughout the entire literary prose. And yes, we did write it like flowery that way. No low enjoyment level of reading, aka no laughing, no arousal. No Dr. Seuss language. There I was. There he was. Here I am. If you know, you know. That was one of the things. Like basically, if you just look at it and you're like, ugh, this is bad writing. That's the if you know, you know. And then we wanted also to make sure that it had to do genre expectations. So those were the things that like if If it failed those things, it wasn't a good methodology. So here's what our methods were back then. Use Raptorite and the easy peasy book machine method with a smart foundation model. At the time, we had 4.0 and Claude 3.5. We will read only the final chapter. This is what we call the gladiator method. If the final chapter is busted, we will go back and fix either the plan, the draft, or edit plan for a rerun. Then once we have all 10 chapters done, we will use the class 297 method. We will human edit one chapter. We will then use Strawberry to match that editing level. By the way, Strawberry was 01. That's how old this is. This is from October of last year. Hoped for result. Aim is for an enjoyable 10-chapter Insta-love romance novella that costs less than $30 to create and less than 5 hours. What we ended up with was 12 chapters. People who don't even read the genre were invested. It cost $10, so less than $30, and it was less than 6 hours to do it. So that's where we were last October. Okay, so let's talk about what we're trying to do today or this weekend. So this weekend, the goal, we're going to call this, you can't, what is it? It's sure shot. You can't, you won't, and you don't stop. Okay. So the goal here is to write, we are going to write another Sydney Marsh book, 20 chapters, up to 20 chapters, in less than 8 hours. Okay. The only pre-work I have done is a pitch and a little bit of outline work that I don't like. So the whole purpose of a Sydney Marsh book is, like, the first thing I had to do for the AI is I had to define it. You know, I had to say a Sydney Marsh book is a strong woman who's going to meet a strong man who basically, like, respects and acknowledges her strength. And in an emergency situation, usually due to her poor planning or a mistake that she has made, but he doesn't rescue her in a, like a, what is the word? Like degrading kind of way. It's like a meeting of the alphas kind of a thing. Meeting of the alphas is a good way to describe it. So that's the idea there. So that's the pre-work that I have done. And I do have I did work with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my go-to place. Don't worry, I'm going to share that link in just a second. Share this tab instead. And I'm going to share the conversation. I've got to be very careful what I show. There we go. Insta-love series. I'm not showing the other conversations. Okay. So we were working on this, my sister and I, last night, and the very beginning of this conversation, and I'm going to share this conversation as part of your notes. It does not include personal information. So I've copied the link and I'm going to put it in your notes so you have access to that. So I said, I have an Insta-love romance novella series. The premise is they're fun stories about strong women who meet strong men in the middle of a disaster, usually from the woman's poor planning or decision. And the strong man saves the strong woman, but in an empowering and sexy way. The first one is Snowstorms and Schnapps, where Caroline goes to a cabin and meets Jake in a snowstorm. The second one is Tumbleweeds and Tequila, where Savannah Brooks meets Angelo Martinez after she gets caught in a sandstorm in the desert and he takes her back to his agave farm. I'd like pitches for 10 more. It must have alliteration with the spirit. And one idea I want is something funny with a bridal party and a bridesmaid gets separated and there's bourbon, maybe in like Kentucky. So for those of you who know, I have been trying to work on rainstorms and rum. Why is there a line across my face from my camera? Am I the only one who sees that? Okay, it's gone. I am one of those people that I'm a visual writer. Oh, Mel texted me. Okay, good. I saw it for just a second. Okay, great. I have to see a funny scene play in my head. So Snowstorms and Schnapps, the funny scene that I had in my head that inspired that entire book was this woman who was in a cabin and the snowstorm's happening and she's just like, ah, and just like drinking her schnapps and like to hell, like I'm just not even dealing with this. I came for a vacation and I'm not getting relaxing, so I'm just going to get drunk. The Tumbleweeds and Tequila book, the scene I saw was like this military guy saving her in the tent and like Oscar Mike, and it was just hot in my head, you know, like I could see her on the stretcher and he's doing all of his like first aid stuff and she's just like, well, hello, did I die and go to heaven or is this real? And that was kind of like some of the scenes. And then I also saw scenes of them like running together on this agave farm in the heat in the morning. And I saw scenes of like his sister being protective. Basically, most of the times my books come to me in just snippets of cool shit I want to write. Anyone else have this affliction where you can just see like a little bit, like you get a little glimmer of what the story is, and I have no idea the rest of the story that goes around it. And I kept getting stuck on Rainstorms and Rum, which now has a redo now. I just don't care about the marine biologist. I just don't like her. Like, I don't like her. I don't want to write her. I have since decided that that story is going to change to where she is actually a property developer. And then, so there's a rival property developer. And then, yeah, so that's going to have a lot more conflict. And for me, I have to have genuine conflict too. It has to be like a real motivation for the character. I'm not very character driven. It's a plot driven thing, but everything has to be, it has to make sense. It has to be something like a real person would do. Irrationality at that point. Yeah. Jen BB goes, yes, the rest of the story gets built around a random cool scene idea. I do the same thing. I do. Same. Exactly. So I'm not the only one with this affliction, and I really appreciate that. Pictures in my head of specific scenes was a start to a lot of my books. Yeah. And Keisha says yes as well. So fantastic. There are other ways to write. Not everybody gets to see a little scene of their book. Sometimes people are less picture-based and more just like, this is what I want to explore. I want to explore this character going through this journey. And I don't really know what's going to happen when I start exploring this. Me, I always have like these goals. Like I want to make that funny scene or that funny haha thing fit. Or I want to make that really hot sex scene fit. With my Infernal Influence book, one of the big scenes that came to me was Kane and her like the demon sex thing happening. And so that's where I was like, ooh, I want to write this entire book where she's making a deal with the devil. Yeah, Mel says she usually starts with the characters. And Moonchild says, I have a whole fantasy novel that I had built in snippets. And Antonio says, yes, I have ideas about characters and environments and some loose details, and the characters cast themselves as I write. So yeah, it's okay to be different authors. So I just want to explain a little bit of my thought process so that you're like, why is she so hard set on this scene? Because I saw it in my head and I want to put it on the page. That's it. That's why. So a needle pulling thread. Let's go back to the chat. So it actually gave me 10 fresh Insta-love novella pitches that keep the fun disaster formula, her minor misplanning, his expert rescue, and stick to the alliteration plus spirit title pattern. And they've included the bridal party. So we're going to go through these 10 and we're going to vote up and down. I'm going to go slow so that you guys have a chance to say, so we'll start off with number 1. If you like number 1, put number 1 in the chat. We're not doing all of these today, but you can probably imagine that these are good things I'm going to be working on. We are doing number 1. So please like number 1. Bridesmaids and Bourbon. At a bluegrass destination wedding, bridesmaid Hallie Harper rents the wrong party bus, gets separated from the bridal party, and ends up lost on a rural back road during a thunderstorm. Bo Carter, a fourth-generation master distiller at Carter Creek Bourbon, is hauling barrels when he finds her. He shelters Hallie in his rick house, shows her the angel share, and chauffeurs her back in time to save the ceremony and steal the bouquet toss kiss. Elements of those I love. Obviously, she's not going to rent the wrong party bus. She's going to get on the wrong party bus, but I love number 1. So number 1 we're doing. So I'll give you guys a chance to put in the chat if you like number 1. Number 2, monsoons and mojitos, Florida Keys. Travel vlogger Luna Delgado ignores hurricane warnings to film a dreamy sandbar sequence. A sudden monsoonal ban strands her. Reef R.J. Johnson. Okay, I would make it up. Tropical storm. Reef R.J. Johnson, island bartender and former Coast Guard rescue swimmer, hauls Luna aboard his catamaran. While they ride out the storm, R.J. teaches her to muddle the perfect key lime mojito and other things worth savoring slowly. I do also like number 2. I want to make changes to it. I actually want to write that one as a super short, like maybe even only 10 chapters again. And that would be like a free one that I would give away to the newsletter. That one I think is a good way to get the flavor of it to people about what this whole series of Shots of Love is all about. So let me know if you like number 2. And we're going to change names. Names are not, the names are not set. So I will let you know. Give time, you guys, in the chat to do that. Number 3, hurricanes and Hennessy. Event planner Genevieve Gigi LaRue insists her celebrity gala can beat a Category 2 forecast. When the levees close, she's trapped in the French Quarter. Marcus Duchamp, a suave cognac distributor with a private generator-powered townhouse, helps her evacuate priceless exhibits and discovers she's the true treasure under all that glitter. I also love this one because this one I could imagine the story. I'm imagining like it's a charity auction. So there's all these like really high things for auction that now have to be suddenly moved up. And for those of you who are millennials and Gen Xers and boomers and all of that, there is going to be a scene in there where they're yelling at each other, pivot, for no other reason than that's going to make everybody lose their minds. A horror story. Oh, yes, you can. So, Renita asks, if I intend to re-enroll in the mastermind class in October, is it possible for me to purchase your first draft class? Yes. If you're just already in the mastermind, you don't need it. So that's a good question, Renita. If you are already in the mastermind or accelerator, you do not need it right now. But if you, because you may not even need to come back to the mastermind if you get access to this now and you're off to the races. So there's that one. No, you're not, Harper. Did you ever watch Friends? There's a very famous scene in Friends where they're trying to get a couch up the stairs. Ross is screaming pivot to everybody that they just need to pivot it more. Like, just look it up. You'll get it. Okay. Flash floods and fireball. Colorado Canyon Country. Amateur photographer Cassie Pike misreads trail maps during monsoon season. A flash flood sweeps her Jeep into a slot canyon. Wes Dalton, smoke jumper on leave and notorious for his cinnamon whiskey tolerance, ropes down to extract her. Overnight in a rescue cave, Cassie learns Wes's heat isn't just the fireball he packs for liquid courage. We said no on that one. That one's a no for me. Why is that one a no for me? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the other reason I don't want to write that one is because of what just recently happened down in Texas. It's a little bit too, too real and also fake at the same time. Like, he's not running around with freaking fireball in his backpack to save people. That does not make any sense. Okay. That's not a thing. So it doesn't mean that it's a bad story idea. Somebody else might like that. I saw that Alyssa likes number 4. She likes the amateur photographer one. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's a bad story. It's just like, this is part of being a publisher. This is going through and going, I like that one. I can kind of see this image. That one doesn't speak to me personally, so I'm just not into it. Number 5. Landslides in Limoncello, Amalfi Coast. Food stylist Bianca Russo ignores local advice and drives the cliff roads after a downpour. A landslide blocks her path. Luca Ferrara, Lemon Grove owner and artisanal limoncello maker, tows her Vespa to safety. As they wait for crews to clear the road, Luca gives her a sun-drenched tour of his groves and a tasting that turns Bianca's detour into destiny. Love this story right away because I could already see it in my head. I wouldn't make her a food stylist. I would make her like a food and wine, like I imagine Bianca being like Gail Simmons, one of the the judges from like Top Chef and stuff. I always admire those people. They get to travel all the time. So she's working on something about limoncello, about this place on the Amalfi Coast. And what I love about the story and what I would do for the conflict is she left the hotel resort area on the Vespa, and she's going to the place that's like the hot touristy thing to write it up. But it's so fake. And fate would have it that she gets stuck at Luca's and she has this wonderful, authentic experience. And then she still goes to the not the bad place. She always has to leave the Luca. So she leaves the Luca and she goes to the other place that's kind of like fakesy. And, they're trying to show her all the like inauthentic things because now she's learned. And so she ends up writing this bit about both of them and being like the tourist trap versus the authentic place to go. And then she can show up when the article comes out back into Luca's arms. So see, when I can see the whole story and I'm like, I want that ride. I want that afternoon of reading this and maybe sipping some limoncello. That's when I'm like, that speaks to me. I didn't personally get that feeling with Flash Floods and Fireball. Are there any of the ones of the 5 that we've done so far that there's people who like, let me know, just say, I couldn't see it and the number if one didn't speak to you. If you had that experience of like, I can't envision that story. All right, number 6, geysers and gin. Wildlife podcaster Darcy Quinn ventures off trail to record a rare wolf howl and nearly plunges into a scalding thermal pool. Caleb Hart, Park Service ecologist by day and craft gin distiller by night, pulls her back from the brink. They shelter in a research cabin where Caleb's forged botanical gin and his smoldering glances thaw Darcy's professional cool. This one was also a no for me. It's interesting. I will give it that. But I don't see a bunch of readers signing up for this experience. I'm already kind of like squipped out a little bit of like, what? We got geysers and a wolf howl and craft gin. I feel like gin should have a different scenario. I feel like I can play with gin a lot more. And then my sister was like, when I think of gin, I think of the holidays. I was like, perfect. The gin one's going to have to be the holiday story. Because we were thinking junipers and things like that. So gin's getting a different one. So number 6 for me was not for me. Wasn't a bad idea, just not for me. Number 7, tornadoes in Tennessee whiskey. Again, I don't like the title of this one. Budget bride Maya Lang decides DIY barn decor beats expensive rentals until a surprise twister barrels down. Griffin Tate, a storm-chasing meteorologist and heir to Tate Hollow Whiskey, hustles her into his reinforced cellar. Amid downtime sips of barrel-strength whiskey, Griffin and Maya whip up more than just wind speed charts. I don't hate the premise of this one, but I need work on it. I don't understand how a bride is being with someone in a cellar. Does that make sense to everyone? Like, that don't feel good. Unless her fiance is a really jerk. But that's really hard to do in a novella. That's more of like a novel situation. So this one was also a no for me. This one was also like it's not quite there. It's not baked enough for me to actually run with that one. I could tweak it. But yeah, twisters, I mean, it would have to like destroy everything, and I don't know. This one made me laugh my butt off. Earthquakes and espresso martinis. Overscheduled tech strategist Naomi Chen squeezes in a midnight rooftop photo shoot when a 4.9 trembler rattles the city. The building's emergency elevator stops between floors. Adrian Rossi, night shift mixologist for the rooftop lounge, climbs the shaft to rescue her. Espresso martini shaker still in hand. Yeah, Chen, everybody drink. Thank you, Stephanie. The aftershocks pale next to their chemistry. This one spoke to me, not with him saving her with a martini espresso in hand, but I was like, okay, what if she's a coder and she goes up to the top rooftop? Like, there's a rooftop bar at the place, like, you know, like those apartment buildings where like it's designed for people to have like the bars and the restaurants like right there for them. I could see that. And she goes up there and she's coding, and she's got some relationship with the bartender a little bit, talking or whatever. And then she goes to the elevator when the thing hits. And so he goes into the elevator shaft to go be with her or whatever. Like I could see that, or something like that. Or they're on the rooftop. They're like, I could see that being a thing. And so it's a small thing, but it basically messes up the elevator. And then being in the elevator together somehow or something like that. So I was like, okay, I could see that, like an elevator that's a little bit stuck, but you're not going to plummet. But that would be a good couple of hours that you would probably be stuck in there, especially if the entire city has been hit with this earthquake and there's lots of people who have problems or whatever. It might take a while for emergency services to get to you because you're not in immediate danger of dying. Hey, Adrian, I can use that drink now. Yeah, he's just gonna whip out his espresso martini shaker in his backpack. Or that actually could be a thing. He could have a backpack that, like, he's leaving work. Oh, that's a good idea. It's closing time. And yeah, okay. Thank you, Plumstone. See, this is how this works. So 8 for me is a yes with some tweaks. I don't understand the photo shoot thing. Carrie goes, shame it's not Christmas one, earthquakes and eggnog. I mean, it could be. It could be. Okay, rock slides and rum. Here's that marine biologist. This is kind of like Brainstorms and rum. Marine biologist Isla Grant ignores warnings about eroding cliffs while surveying coral. A rock slide crushes her dinghy. Dominique Dom St. Pierre, ex-pro rugby player. Okay, I kind of like that part. Turned rum blending plantation owner. Don't like that part. Spots her flare and ferries her to his estate infirmary. Between rum tastings and moonlit sulfur spring swims, Dom proves healing can be delicious. There are some things I would want to change about that one. And then we have avalanches and absinthe. Aspiring influencer Paige Walters hikes off-season for the perfect winter shot and triggers a small avalanche. Mateo Keller, mountaineer and green fairy-loving absinthe maker, rescues her with a St. Bernard and sled. Snowbound in his chalet, Paige finds the real intoxicant is the way Mateo says, hold still, Cherie, while warming her fingertips. I don't hate that one. It's pretty funny, except that I know that I don't like absinthe now from going to New Orleans. So yeah, that one is just like campy and hilarious. But it would be lower on my thing. So my top ones that I could definitely see right away was the Bridesmaids and Bourbon. I had some clear ideas on that. Monsoons and Mojitos, Hurricanes and Hennessy, and then Landslides and Limoncello. And then probably that Earthquakes and stuff. So that's 5 out of 10. Okay. So this is how you can take something like, okay, I have these ideas. This is how I continue into this whole like theme of these books. And Bill Miles said this would be like the drunk sex series. Bill, most sex is drunk sex, I think, at least by one party. Antonio says, I like premise 5 as it's realistic, not ridiculously forced, such as the beggar in the streets by morning, ultra rich by night. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Maria says the ones I like the most are 1, 2, 5, as you described, rather than how it's written, and with 1 being the one I like the most. Yeah, I would say number 1 is my number 1. The Bridesmaid and Bourbon, so that's what we're going to work on. But I also like that Limoncello and the Amalfi Coast, so that might be the second one we work on this weekend if we're able to be as fast as I think we can. Yeah, this is a Shot and Love series. Yeah, so it's Shots of Love. Yeah, Shots and Love. Then the other one that I liked is that the sailboat one, because you're on a catamaran. It's very close proximity. I can imagine the elevator one. I really can imagine the auction one in New Orleans. And it might be because I just went to New Orleans this year. So I kind of like the Hurricanes and Hennessy one. That seems fun. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to go back to this and we're going to start coming up with some ideas here of what happens. So I said, go ahead and plot out the first one over 20 chapters. Make sure there's at least 3 lovemaking scenes. 1 can be the epilogue. Make sure the plot makes sense, like renting the wrong party bus. Seems like maybe she boards the wrong party bus. And I got this. So I looked at this thing to start. This is what I do to start getting my brainstorming going. I will look at an outline a couple of different ways, like a couple of different outlines that it comes up with and be like, oh, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. This one I don't like this one I rejected almost immediately. Travel planner app has already glitched twice. Ominous foreshadowing. Ugh. Hotel parking lot, 2 identically party buses idle, distracted by frantic texts. Holly boards the wrong one. I don't think she can board the wrong one before they've gone out to party. I'm like, no, they need to have been partying and then somehow they got separated, you know? Like, I feel like there should be some Jaeger involved before we get the separation going on. And I also, once I started reading these things about him showing up, and she shows up at this place in the wrong place and all that, I'm like, okay, so I'm imagining that they went downtown, they started pub crawling. They were supposed to do 1 beer and 1 bourbon, and somehow that turned into more bourbons. And then they were getting ride shares to all go back. Some are staying at the hotel, some are staying, wherever, and they all were breaking up. And so she just got on the wrong bus that was taking her back to the wrong resort. So it's not taking her back to the resort where the wedding is happening. It's taking her to the resort where the Carter Creek's distillery is. And so then I was imagining, okay, she doesn't really realize she's on the wrong bus because she can see someone's hair or something like that and thinks it's like one of the bridesmaids because she's kind of drunk and tipsy. So she gets on the bus and she kind of like goes to sleep. When she wakes up, she's at this other thing and walking in and everything looks different and she's kind of tipsy. So, and here's where I think we need to make it a little bit extra. Like, her phone is almost dead, and we could also have, so this means like my early scenes are going to be her partying. And we can also have where in a modern world where what's going to make her vulnerable. And that would be like if somebody else has her wallet, like in some way, shape, like she put her wallet in somebody else's bag. Like, this happens. How many of my ladies out here, when you go out, sometimes you make adjustments and like your wallet's in somebody else's bag and you're drinking because you're on the dance floor or whatever. And so she gets to this resort and she has no money to pay for a room. She has like the bridesmaid t-shirts and stuff like that, and she's just really drunk. And this poor guy, Caleb Carter, or Caleb, whatever the heck is, or Carter Bow, or whatever his name is, Bo Carter. He knows she's good for the money and all of that, but I think that would be very comical. Yes, the friend with the big purse ends up carrying everything. That is, and I could exactly have him be judging her and be like, how did you lose your wallet? Did you get, no, I did not get stolen from. The woman with the big purse ends up carrying everything, Yes, as the friend with the big purse, yes. See, this is why I love AI, because the idea came from last night, me talking to my sister, Chris, and saying, I want to do something with bourbon. She was like, okay, bourbon. I'm seeing bridesmaids. And I was like, yes. She's like maybe a woman group going out. I was like, yes. And like Kentucky. And so from there, it just kind of snowballed. So did AI come up with this idea? No. AI gave me a lot of bad ideas. And I'm like, nope, I don't like that. She can't rent the wrong party bus. Are you crazy? No. And that's why you can't just take your basic idea, throw it into AI, and then just click the button and let it run the book, like some other tools have you do. Because if you don't validate that outline, you're going to get stupid stuff that humans don't do, like renting the wrong party bus as a justification for how she doesn't know that she's in the wrong place. Okay, so let's go on. So let's start talking. Let's start capturing some of these things that we want to do in this story. And this is really like how I roll with it. So I'm going to share this. Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be ending this, but this is why I say we're going to keep going. That first hour did not count. Okay, so bridesmaids and bourbon. Okay, so the idea is that Hallie Harper, is that an often used AI name? All right, we'll work on the names a little bit. I know Harper gets used a lot with AI. Give me 20 names of women born in how old do I want? It's 2025, so she's 25 in 2000. Would be a sorority going to a destination wedding week in Kentucky. I misspelled Kentucky. Oh, I love the name Taylor. Taylor just sounds perfect. Oh, I see it. That math doesn't work, as we all know 2000 was just a few years ago. I agree. Madison, Sydney, Caitlin, Brooke. We already have a Savannah. Brianna, Kelsey, Peyton, Riley, Addison, Grace, Avery. I like Taylor. Taylor and Bo. All right. Taylor. We need a last name for her. Give me a list of 20 last names. Oh, Ryan, Taylor and Travis. Yeah, but no, we're not going to do Taylor and Travis. I don't want to get sued, nor do I want to get Swiftied. Taylor Madison. Let's see what we got. We got last names here. Oh, I kind of like Ramsey. Ooh, Sutton. I like Sutton too. We'll make the bride be a Sutton. Okay. Taylor Ramsey will fall for I'm going to come over to the other chat, actually, the one that you guys already have. Wrong one. No, that is the right one. Okay. So I'm going to say rename the female lead to Taylor Ramsey. The bride is Emily Sutton. And their stepsisters. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right tab. Share this tab instead. Okay, so now you can see the tab. There we go. Okay, and their stepsisters. Give me a list of character names for the wedding party, a rival bridesmaid, etc. Okay, well, that's cooking. We're going to come over here. Taylor Ramsey, attending. She is the maid of honor. Oh, and that would be conflict. That would be conflict, right? If she's the stepsister and she got made maid of honor, but the best friend from college for Emily feels like she should have been maid of honor. Yes. Oh, yes. And then it could have actually been a little bit of sabotage. Another good Beastie Boys song. See how it all just comes. I told you my brain's a scary place. It's a very scary place with all the connections. Maid of honor to her stepsister. Is at a destination wedding, bluegrass wedding outside of Louisville, Kentucky. There is a high-end fictional resort where the whole wedding party is staying all week. How many of you have seen Elizabethtown? One of my favorite movies, even though it bombed at the thing, is Elizabethtown with Orlando Bloom and Kirsten Dunst. And he goes to Louisville because his father died there visiting his family, and his family's like from California, or they lived in California for like a year or whatever. But anyway, there's like a mismatch in the culture. And he stays at this resort where this whole wedding is going on, and it's the most obnoxious wedding ever. That is some of my inspiration for this. Okay. A high-end fictional resort where the whole wedding party is staying all week. It is obnoxious. Expression of wealth. Okay. Emily's best friend from college. Let's see what ChatGPT came up with some names so I can use it. Okay, so we have share this tab instead. Okay, let's see who we've got. We got Emily Sutton, maid of honor heroine, Taylor Ramsey, PR whiz, Emily's confident yet chaotic stepsister and best friend. No, she's the stepsister. She's not the best friend. Brianna Lowell. Yes. I love that name. So we're going to share this tab instead. Brianna Lowell. No. I don't want these lines. Delete. Delete. To one up Taylor. Sabotages Taylor as the whole bridal party and cousins take a tour bus take a party bus. Yeah, a party bus from the resort to downtown to one beer, one bourbon that goes on. Brianna, after the pub crawl with Taylor and Emily very drunk and other members of the bridal party. Taylor is sort of sent the wrong way to get on the party bus back to the resort, which will take her with no wallet that was put in a cousin's bag who had the biggest bag. So Taylor and Emily could dance. This is hilarious. With no wallet and a phone on 5% to the wrong resort that's 40 miles away from where she needs to be. Oh no, let's make it longer. Let's make it like 60 miles. 60 miles away from where she needs to be. 60 miles in the wrong direction. So 2 hours. A terrible thunderstorm hits as she arrives at the Oh, and no cell phone. Yeah. As she arrives at the wrong resort, which is more run down and, let's say, economically authentic compared to the super polished place the wedding is at. And so Taylor shows up 2 a.m. At the resort with no wallet and nowhere to stay. Okay, enter Dude Man. So we'll come over to the Insta-love things here, share this tab instead. Yeah, I'm going to put all these in for extra people that they can play with and have fun with. Matt Caldwell. I think we would just make him Matt Chandler so that it's the same thing. Bo Carter, 4th generation master distiller of Carter Creek bourbon. Share this tab instead. Okay. Bo Carter is working the front desk, even though he is heir to the entire resort once his aunt dies, his great aunt dies. He runs the place. He takes pity on this bridesmaid t-shirt wearing who is spunky, drunk, and very lost, very stuck. Unfortunately, the resort is full and the other rooms are under renovation. Ooh, I like that. So he has to take her back to his cottage where he stays. It kept saying Rick house. I don't know what a Rick house is. I mean, I know what a kind of, what's a Rick house in Kentucky? I'm Googling it. A warehouse, also known as rack houses. Okay, so I'm going to have the cottage is like attached to the Rick house. So yeah, and that's where he likes to stay. I love that idea. That's attached to the Rick house where the bourbon is. The next morning, they have breakfast, and find out that the bridge to the resort was damaged in the storm, but it will be fixed by tomorrow. Frantic search. Okay, I need more story here. And I'm thinking there's comedy from the bridal party in the afternoon, sobering up and realizing Taylor is missing. Brianna unhelpfully said she went to a cousin's Airbnb in a Uber, in a rideshare. Okay. But Taylor can't leave Carter Creek until the next day. So she spends the day fielding crazy text messages, trying to deal with her family who does not appreciate her. And Bo really not liking the lack of concern. I'm building this up. We're adding in some family trauma, guys. For Taylor, it's all about Taylor inconveniencing everybody else. Bo takes Taylor on a real bourbon tasting, Angel's share. And they kiss. Oh, like my light went out. Okay. What else? I'm checking the chat, making sure everyone's here. Okay, cool. We're no more chat. Another round of thunderstorms that night. They have a lot of chemistry. Another round of thunderstorms that night, and they sleep together, and it's amazing. Then the third day, the bridge is fixed, and Bo offers to take Taylor back to the resort she needs to be at. I really want to say, and the wedding party can't spare a car to come get Taylor. Bo offers to take Taylor back to the resort. She still doesn't have her wallet or anything like that. But she has no other choice, as her family acts like she did this to ruin the wedding. You know? When Bo comes with her, Tyler asks him to pack some clothes and be her date to the wedding. Because she's pissed off, and I would do that. Like, I don't want to stop. And take more stuff wedding. The family is not happy. Taylor now has this guy. This is so funny. Bo. More hijinks as the groom tries to include Bo. But he's old money. Not new money frat boy. Ooh, do we want to make an age gap? Do we want to make Bo older? I think we want to make him older because I think that that's kind of hot. Taylor Ramsey, we'll make her 27. Fourth generation Bo Carter, let's make him 38. There we go. But he's very, very, very fit. Not new money frat boy. What did the AI come up with? So let me share this tab instead. Okay, here we had rival bridesmaid, snarking, ceremony flawless, you look happier than me. Ooh. If your bourbon guy hadn't stranded me, Bo here's Pride Bruce. He leaves before she can clarify. Okay, so maybe she overhears the bourbon hookup or whatever. Like, you can't bring your hookup to a wedding. I don't know. This is like too much here. Barrel roll game. They decide on no waiting. Kate and husband visit for a tasting. Okay, I like some of this. So, oh honey, you need to go. This live is not for you. But thank you for the comment. Okay, what are we doing here, Elizabeth? We need to go to this thing. Back to this one and share this tab instead. More hijinks. So there's a mismatch, and we want, what am I trying to think? More hijinks as the groom tries to include Bo, but he's old money, new money. And Taylor's family is critical. Have something where Bo overhears Taylor saying it's just a fling. So he ends up, I'm trying to think. Would he not go to the wedding? I'm trying to think about this. We need a separation. Yeah, he would not go to the wedding. He ends up not going to the wedding. Not going to the wedding and going back to Carter Creek. During the wedding, the whole sordid tale comes out, and Taylor sees her sister happily in love with Matthew, which always makes me think of the SNL skit. Oh, we just needed Domingo. Sees her sister happily in love with Matthew. Some sleazy guy in the groom's party tries to seriously hit on her. And Taylor realizes she felt something with Bo. So after the wedding is done, she's supposed to gather gifts and all that. But instead, Taylor goes upstairs. Taylor says Brianna can be maid of honor since she wanted it all along, and do that. And Taylor packs and goes to Carter Creek. And then I like this thing, what it had over here. Share this tab instead. I like this. It's not going to be Hallie. Share this tab instead. Putting in Hallie, but it's going to be Taylor. Taylor storms into the thing Bo admits he planned to show up in Chicago next weekend. Is where Taylor lives. And then the epilogue. No waiting. What does Taylor do for a living? We need her to do something for a living that's interesting. Taylor works as, oh, you know what? I'm going to have her, she works as a controller, finance person in the family business. Her father's business, who is Emily's stepfather. Yeah, so it can flesh all of that out. Okay. 3 months later, Taylor helps run the resort. And Emily and husband come visit her tasting on Taylor's oak desk, and Bo slips a ring into the Glencairn. I like that. Yeah, this is fun. Okay, so I have all of this. And what I'm going to do is, so the wedding has already taken place. No possibility for Brianna to become maid of honor, is it? No. She'll be the maid of honor after the fact, you know. Yeah. So yeah, the AI will figure this out and like flesh out all the things. I gave it enough meat here to like, okay, understand where this is going. So I'm going to come back over to the pitches one, share this tab instead. So now I just need it to be a little bit more better. Rename the bride is Emily Sutton, their stepsisters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, what I have below has to happen. But other details from above can be used to fill the gaps. Let's make this into a detailed 20 chapter outline. I'm kind of working in reverse. So I have that information, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get all of my ideas that I had plus the previous ones to work into it so that it'll put it all together. Yeah, we need Taylor's point of view. Should stay in the plot. I'll include at least 3 intimate moments. The focus will be on fleshing out the middle conflict clash between family, wealthy versus authentic, and Bo overhearing. Act 1 is all about setting it up. So here we go. Okay, so it's got the timeline span. Bluegrass Estates report. Polite. Yes. 1 beer, 1 bourbon. Shelby Morales' oversized tote so they can dance hands-free. Near midnight, identical bluegrass party shuttle bicycles idle. Brianna steers a tipsy Taylor toward the wrong queue while telling everyone Taylor grabbed a rideshare with cousins. Taylor's phone at 5%. LED route reads Carter Creek Bourbon Resort 60 miles. Driver cites pre-prior itinerary, refuses to stop, thunder cracks. Taylor's frantic text drained the phone battery. 2 a.m. arrival at rundown yet charming Carter Creek. Oh, I love this. I love this. He walks Taylor, soaked and broke, to his cottage adjoining. Local deputy knocks. Emily filed a missing person report. Group chat screenshot show bridal party panic and Brianna's unhelpful she's fine comments. Bridge on the main county road is washed out. Repairs by tomorrow. Bo leads Taylor through the barrel house. Angel share vapor, thieving bourbon straight from the cask. They trade life stories, her family's dismissive attitudes, his loyalty to heritage. First lingering. Oh my gosh. First lingering kiss among oak. Then storm night reunites, candlelit tasting cellar. Yeah, that's great. Phones charging, 72 messages, family more angry about inconveniencing vendors than relief she's safe. Half wilts. Bridge still closed, so Bo shows her the working farm. Cooks skill at lunch, lets her sign a barrel. Chemistry deepens. Taylor admits she hasn't felt seen in years. Country road reopens, but Bluegrass Estates can't spare a car. Brianna texts a snide, hope you make it by the bouquet toss. Bo offers lift, packs weekend bag, asks if she'd like him as +1. Taylor in Bolton says yes. Their arrival in a dusty pickup clashes with the valet park Teslas. They claim Taylor's dramatic. Oh, I love this. I love this. Rehearsal. Matt Caldwell finds Bo fascinating, invites him to a rare bourbon library. Taylor steals Bo to candlelit gazebo. Bridesmaid brunch. Brianna needles cute fling tay. It's just fun. Bo delivering custom mini barrels as favors overhears. His face closes. He exits quietly. Wedding day. Bo texts an apology for leaving, but says better not distract you. During photos, sleazy groomsman Diego Santoro corners Taylor. Gross flirtation highlights what she lost. Emily glowing. Val's heartfelt. She sees true partnership. She overhears Brianna bragging about that sending Taylor on the wrong bus was genius. She's so upset. She confronts publicly, out sabotage, steps in front of the mic. Brianna will finish maid of honor duties she clearly wanted. Drops the mic, hands clipboard to stunned rival. Taylor packs, borrows Matt's truck, drives 60 miles in the moonlight, bursts into the Rick house. Bo's labeling bottles. You taste like home more than any place I've known. He bought a ticket to visit her in Chicago next week. They choose no waiting. Okay, I like it. I like it. This is great. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. It's 12:26. We're still going to get through it. We've got a lot of this done. So we're still going to be able to get through all of the worksheet stuff. So let me go to my first, not that one. Let me go to, I also have Plot Drive open. Okay. Tis time. Tis time. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a break here. Okay. Does everybody see how I was able to kind of take the beginnings of an idea from last night, which was about an hour's worth of work, and then we just did another hour's worth of work on it? So basically, I have spent 2 hours fleshing out the story. And was everyone able to see that the outline is now stronger? Like it's starting to make more sense for the story? Yes? No? How are we feeling? I got my coffee. So now I'm going to show you how you bring all that information into your first draft and turn it into the outline. We're going to attempt to use the story pitch one and see how that goes. Actually, I don't even think I need to do that. I think I can just use Cascade. So we're going to see how this all goes. So here I am. I'm on my first draft, your first draft. I'm going to log in with Teachable. And I'm going to go to the dashboard. And this is what you'll be able to see when you purchase the bootcamp. Once it opens August 15th, or if you join the accelerator today, you can go ahead and get access to your first draft. So your first draft, the dashboard's right here. Like I said, we can change the colors however we want to. So if we want CMYK, so it's even brighter, Halloween, corporate, I feel like we need something bourbony. Let's find something bourbony, shall we? We need something with like browns. There's got to be something that's brown. Sunset, Carmelette, that looks like the same to me. Lemonade, coffee. Let me see how coffee looks. Coffee doesn't look the best, but maybe luxury. All right, I guess I'll work in lo-fi. So I'll work in lo-fi so it's nice and bright for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in so everybody can see really good. I'm going to create a new project, but I don't know which blueprint I want to use, so I'm going to click Browse the Blueprints. As soon as I click Browse the Blueprints, it's going to start to come up with all these different types here. So I'm actually going to go to the genre neutral. So the genre neutral blueprints is what I'm going to work in. And we have a couple of open canvas ones. We're working on getting these renamed to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to work for one with Ion because I love Ion and how it writes. So I'm actually going to come down here to the 20 chapter Ion one, which is going to be, does not exist, maybe? Okay, well, since we should have had a 21, a 20 chapter. I don't know why we only have a 10 and then 20 open canvas, open canvas. I thought we had a 21, but we'll get that fixed. Okay, so what I'm going to do to co-opt it, because Mel's like, give me 5 minutes. She's so cute. She's like, I'll set it up. So she's going to take 5 minutes. She's going to set it up for us, which is great. We thought we had it. What's happening right now is we have, let me explain to you. We have a whole like baby incubator that we're working on things. And then as they're stable, it gets moved over into production. This is important to us because we want to be able to work and experiment on things, but not give you guys things that are breaking or break other things or anything like that. So we're trying to make production as robust as possible, but it is still software that is in beta. It is still brand new software. So what I actually think I'm going to do is we have solved this. Been at this for 2.5 hours. Instead of making Mel work in 5 minutes, here's what I propose. I put on a song, I go eat some lunch, and Kello's going to be here at 4, and I say that we start at 8 o'clock tonight fresh and get that all turned into a dossier, and then that way I can run the chapters, and then tomorrow we'll be starting the edits. Might even do some edits tonight. What do you guys think? This way I'm not going super over. Teal? Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Yay! All right, so we're going to use one of my favorite songs. They're all like my favorites. So I think I'm going to go ahead and close this out a little bit. Your notes have all the links to the different programs. And just to recap again, oh, the other thing I was going to show you guys too while I was doing that is once you have access to your first draft, you just click buy credits and it shows you exactly how you're going to be able to buy the credits. It can take up to 24 hours to appear. That'll be fixed before we go in August. You won't miss tonight's one because it'll be on tonight, but you can watch the replay before we're live again tomorrow at 10 a.m. How and when or tomorrow, I am new to Accelerator. We'll be here on 8 p.m. Everything's on YouTube for this weekend. So your notes has the links to everything in the times. But this is where you can buy more tokens. It's pretty easy. It all goes through Stripe very easily. And I'll go back. And that is, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this all going. So your notes, back to your notes. You have the information I worked on. You literally have the link to the ChatGPT that I have, so you can see the pre-work that I've done. We're going to keep going tonight. So 4 o'clock is Ikello. I'll make sure that link gets put here. I will be back at 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. Your standalone classes this month, you want to use coupon code I'm talking and I'm not sharing this thing. I'm so sorry. Share this tab instead. Let's share the notes. This is definitely a sign that I need to go eat and take a rest. Okay. So we have all the links for the YouTube lives this weekend. I need to put Ikello's in here, or he can actually edit it and add his, but he's going to be live at 4 p.m. So actually, I'll just go ahead and do that real fast. July 24th, 2025. And Ikello has some fun stuff. And now I need the link, the linky link. Let me go get the link for that. To studio and the live. Please make sure you like and subscribe. We have 5,413 subscribers. Now, I know for a fact that about 800 to 1,000 of you actually do log into these things, and we can actually see that more than half of you are not subscribed. There's no cost to subscribe to a YouTube channel, but it really does help us It helps the algorithms. It helps YouTube understand what kinds of people would like our content. And he's going to go all into deep about the YouTube bootcamp. And the other thing too that subscribing does is it helps you. More importantly, it makes it so that you get recommended more things. You also get, like, if you miss our newsletter, if you miss our announcement, YouTube can let you know, like, hey, your favorite people are going live. So that way you won't miss all of the exciting things that we're doing. With Your First Draft, I'm going to be writing live a lot more on YouTube. And so will be Kello and other people, because it's so fast and it's really fun. So I was just going to say, please like and subscribe, because it really, really helps us. And it's also going to help you out too. And it's free, totally free. So these are all the times that we're doing it. Your standalone classes this month, Your First Draft is the coupon code. You can go ahead and get the N8N. There's also the bundle. We went over all of that. If you get the boot camp, you will not have access to Your First Draft until August 15th. Okay. The boot camp is for people who are not in the mastermind or the accelerator. If you join the accelerator, you will have access to the boot camp right away. You'll just have to buy your tokens, and then there's classes that we already have, and you'll get the boot camp class as we release that. So you can, if you want access to Your First Draft like now, you need to go join the accelerator. That is the only way to get access to the boot camp today. And I need to shout out somebody. Let me go find her name really fast. Her name is, I believe, Hannah. And Hannah, if you're watching this, I know you live in a different time zone than me. I believe you are in Hannah Ashing. Okay. She joined Accelerator a few days ago, and she wrote a review in AI Writing for Authors that I've got access to Your First Draft, and it's simply a life changer. Working on my second book in 2 days. The first one was an experiment with an old idea, and I got a beautiful 60,000 word novel that I'd say is 90% on the way to publishing ready. Editing is always a must, regardless of how the prose was generated. Now I'm working on an original idea that I should have complete first draft by the end of the day. So you can leapfrog. You do have the option of joining the accelerator, and you could, between now and August 15th, you could have 4 books written with Your First Draft. But if you wait till August 15th because you don't want to join the subscription, I get it. The bootcamp is not a subscription. It's a one-time fee. You get the 4 tokens. You'll get the bonus 20 chapter to run. And you'll be able to learn Your First Draft when it's very, very stable. But if you're somebody who's like been watching me and been like, I want to go figure this out, understand that there are people coming into this and being like, I just got access to the accelerator. I watched a few classes. I'm in, and I'm using Your First Draft. You can do that, because once you go into accelerator, we add you to Your First Draft, and you can immediately start purchasing credits and all of that right there inside of Your First Draft. And then finally, if you are looking to build a company, you're ready for that next level. Publishing Summit is where you want to look at. That thing only has, I think, 20 something seats left. So there's 20 something seats left. I'm not sure how many seats are left in the boot camp, but the boot camp is irrelevant if you just join Accelerator. So for $249 a month, you can join the Author Accelerator, and you can immediately get all of these standalone classes that we're offering this month. You wouldn't have to buy them individually. You can access them right now. Plus, you get all of the great time with Alyssa and me and Kello and Lynn and Stace and Steph and Cassie and April and like all the people who teach and all of the substitute teachers. Like, you get so much more for the $249 a month. It's really, really worth it. And if you are at $249 a month in our accelerator program, we're doing July right now, you get a free token in Your First Draft every single month as part of your tuition, as part of your subscription. So it's really a great value for $249 a month to do the accelerator. It's a great way to test it out and see if you even like it. If you don't like it and you're like, oh, I figured it out, you can immediately just go buy the boot camp and be part of the boot camp, and then you can buy tokens or whatever. If you've ever been a member of the mastermind, by the way, if you were once upon a time a member of the mastermind at 99, 129, 159, email dean@futurefictionacademy.com. If we can find your email address and you purchased, it's not if you did this just a free trial, you have to have purchased a month. If you have purchased a month, you locked in that pricing, you can come back to the mastermind for that original pricing. We stand by that because we are authors first. So if you were originally a 159 student, you do not have to join that accelerator at 249. You paid early on so you can come back. We want to honor every single author that has been with us along this journey. I'm going to stress again, there's big things happening behind the scenes. I'm so excited for them. All I wanted in doing this was to get a seat at the table to make sure that authors are being advocated for and have a way to go into the future with AI, that we wouldn't get left behind, that we wouldn't get replaced by people who had never written books, who had never studied writer's craft. Because I want to say new authors are welcome, okay? But I want people who are coming into this who want to tell a good story versus how cheap can I run this book with a dumb model and pass it off as human writing. That's not what we do at the Future Fiction Academy. We believe in AI as a tool, AI helping you iterate. You saw in this live how I was able to iterate with AI with my names and like, oh, but she's got to be born in 2000. And you can see how it's a collaborative process. And that collaboration allows you to go so fast. Harper herself says she's done 11 projects this month with Your First Draft. That's where it's going. 11 projects, 1 month. We used to think as indies publishing 1 book or 2 books a month was super fast. And now we have people very easily with not too much effort publishing between 5 and 10 books a month. So the FFP is live, the Future Fiction Press. Sydney Marsh's Snowstorms and Schnapps is out there in the wild in Amazon. On Amazon, you can pre-order that book. You can pre-order Tumbleweeds and Tequila. It's a great way to support if you watch me write. I think I wrote Tumbleweeds. I wrote Tumbleweeds and Tequila live as part of the Valentine's Day Massacre. So if you want to see that book being written live with AI, it was written in February during the Valentine's Day Massacre. Now, obviously, the published one is the edited version, but you can actually see, what the raw chapter started off as and what was the published chapter that came out. So, Christina says the Immortal Bloom is also up for pre-order. Well, that is Mira Hollis. No, sorry, Margot Hollis. She got a rename. Let me go ahead and put a link to her as well in the notes. Oh my gosh, I love that book cover. I have not seen that book cover. You guys, wait till you see this thing. Look at that. Now, this one is so fun. This one comes out August 6th. It is a Greek god fantasy romance. Do not trust the handsome tailor. Do not plant the stolen seeds. And whatever you do, do not fall for the man with secrets as ancient as the gods. I'm a botanist on the run. My secret isn't just that I stole world-altering seeds from my dangerous ex. It's that they're starting to grow. The charming town of St. Helena was meant to be my sanctuary, a place to hide and study my discovery and peace. Then I met Elias. The town's grumpy tailor is as magnetic as he is mysterious. He watches me with stormy eyes that hold the weight of centuries, and he promises protection. But I soon learn that some secrets are buried for a reason. When my past finds me, it's not just an academic rival at my door. It's a malevolent god who wants what I've grown. To protect me, Elias is forced to reveal his own truth. He's Zeus, the fallen king of Olympus, and my garden is now the battleground for a celestial war. I was never meant to be a player in a divine game, but what if the power they're all fighting for isn't just in the seeds? What if it's in me? The Immortal Bloom is an immortal hero, mortal heroine fantasy romance for readers craving secret identities, college lab chemistry, and slow burn that hits like a storm. This one is a full novel length. This one is over 50,000 words. And then there's that cover, which I freaking love, love, love. This one will also be in Kindle. Kindle Unlimited, but you can pre-order it for $3.99, so that you get it like the minute it's out. And I need to share this, so I need to go. And again, we are being out there about the pen names. So Margot Hollis, I'll give a link to her thing. We are saying in the bio. Let's go to the bio. Bio's not up yet, but the bio will. I know what the bio is going to be because I got to read it earlier. But the bio is going to disclose that we are AI, that we are using AI as well. So let's go ahead up here and where we had. And Margot Hollis. So there's Margot Hollis and Snowstorms and Schnapps. I'll also put that over here in the notes. This is really exciting. So exciting. So, oh, you posted it, but Amazon is slow. Yeah. Yeah, that one was all Steph. Oh, so Steph did the cover. Got it. But this is what's happening, you guys. Like, we set about to make the press last year. We made the LLC last year, Steph, Stacy, and I. And Stacy and I, like, Steph worked on Immortal Bloom and some other books as well. And Stacy and I attempted co-writing. Our first big project that we did was for a podcast that's now defunct. But we did like a women's fiction, and we were using Rexy. We were using Rexy and Raptorite, and that was last summer. And we basically took like a week or two, and between the two of us going back and forth, I think we wrote 20 or 30,000 words. It was kind of going to be an episodic women's fiction. That project has been like kind of set aside for right now. And then it would be a couple months later, October, that I did. And in the meantime, they worked on some other books too. And in October, I did the No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and we were perfecting the easy peasy book machine methodology. And then in April of this year, Steph, Stacy, and I, we were in New Orleans in March. We made a whole slate of books. We were really going hard on the press, and we took a 2-week sabbatical, and we sat down and we all tried to make as many books as we can. And we ended up with 6 books ready to go. That's when Tumbleweeds was ready. That's when everything got kind of smoothed out that was in progress and everything. So the 3 of us were like, okay, we made 6 books in 2 weeks, but we didn't like it. It was still very labor, and writing a book is labor intensive, but we just needed better AI tooling. And we realized that. And this past April is where the idea for Your First Draft came about, because after we had done it manually, and we were like, man, we wish we had a tool that could do this, and this. And just like, we give it the ideas, just let it write for me a whole draft, and then I'll fix the draft. And then that way I'm not bogged down trying to run chapter by chapter and like getting lost on tangents. I've got this full draft. I'm committed to getting this 50,000 words or 30,000 words across the finish line. Because as an author, for me, not everybody, when I have a draft that's 50,000 words and the work I have to do is whip that 50,000 words into shape, that's a very different feeling than I have nothing. And I have to generate 50,000 words chapter by chapter by chapter. By the time I do that, when I get to the end, personally, I don't want to read that book anymore. I don't want to edit that book anymore. I don't even like that book no more. So for me personally, using the easy peasy book machine, 1 chapter at a time, while I could do it, I didn't enjoy that methodology of writing with AI. I need AI to do things on its own, and then I come back and I'm able to work in like a different kind of boundary structure where, like, okay, this is the raw clay I have to work with. I'm going to go polish up this clay. I personally do not do well with, let me make the raw clay and edit the raw clay at the same time. I get bogged down. About halfway through the middle, I want to quit altogether. Anybody else have that problem? Am I the only one? And it's okay to have these feelings of like, I don't like to write with AI that way. I don't like to write without AI that way. I don't like to write any which way. It's okay to have these opinions and these feelings and these like different things. So we had 6 books in April, and then we were like making plans with the press. Something in my gut told me to stop. When I say something in my gut told me to stop, I mean, it was a really hard, like, you need to stop. It is not time yet. It is not the right time. And I had no idea why, but we literally had to tell everyone, I think it was May, guys, we're putting a hold on the press. And that was because we didn't like what we had to do in April. We were working on Your First Draft, and I wasn't really sure what the real reason was. Well, in June, I got an email that really changed a lot of things for us, and it's still changing our mindsets on things. And it directly relates to the press. And it is the universe's answer of why I got that. Wait. So we waited. We had some interesting discussions. And now we are attempting to publish 55 books between now and the end of October. 55. 5. And I am bringing over my entire Elizabeth Ann West catalog to the Future Fiction Press. We are going to be re-releasing every single Elizabeth Ann West book enhanced with AI. So I'm going to be taking those down off of Amazon. I just went and got all my audio rights back except for one book that I can't get till January. And so it's really exciting. And it's really exciting times for the Future Fiction Press because no matter which way it goes, the new opportunity, or if we are just, doing it on ourselves, we're ready for this. Like, the tooling and stuff is all there, and we're actually going to be able to compete with some of the larger presses that are out there. There's a lot of presses that you have, like big 5 presses and stuff. They're imprints. Some of their biggest imprints put out 400 to 500 titles a year. They have a lot of staff. We are attempting that. We are attempting by 2027 to be doing 480 new titles a year. That's 40 books a month. We're at 11 right now. I know. We have ways to go. So there's a question about, can members of the FFA join the press? And the answer is yes. We will have that available probably into the new year. We have some big things in the fire right now that, like, we'll see which way the wind goes. But depending on what happens with the press, we have some ideas on how that's going to look. But I want to warn people, we are looking at this in a new way. I'm going to say something a little blasphemous. Probably shouldn't, but I don't care. I don't know that the royalty system has ever really served authors as well as it could have. I'll say it again. I don't think the royalty system has really served authors as well as it could have. And let me explain a little bit about that. If the way the economics of publishing goes, and I know I'm still talking, it's important. It's a nice fireside chat. The economics of publishing is that you publish 10 books, you publish a slate of books with the expectation that a certain percentage is not going to do well. And by the way, it's more books are expected not to do well than the books that are expected to hit the stratosphere. Does everyone agree with that? Like, in terms of a publishing company that puts out 400 books, is it expecting that the majority of those books are going to be making millions of dollars for those authors? No. The majority of authors are either in the mid-list or below. So if the majority of the authors are in mid-list or below, oh, love fireside chat. Thank you. And Bill says no. And McKinley says for sure. If the majority of authors are in the mid-list or below, maybe we need to start rethinking, resurrecting previous models. Is there a reason why in other disciplines a writer is on staff, but that's rare for fiction? Bill says it's always been about the tail. Yeah, publishers are banking on just a few books to hit it big. Zedekiss, you might have 4 done on KDP by October. Good job. That's still fantastic. I'll say it again. Is there a reason why in other disciplines of writing, the writer is on staff and gets a salary, but that's rare in fiction? Why? Why is not the majority of writers who write TV shows and stuff writing on spec and hoping to get a royalty percentage based on how well the movie, the show or the movie does on TV? Because it's not a good system for the author. It's not a great system for the author. It's a great system for some authors, but not for the majority of authors. Even in the nonfiction world, writing articles and things like that. You either are a staff writer or maybe you're a freelance writer, but it's not like the newspapers are like, okay, well, Betsy, you're going to write this article, but we're only going to pay you based on the number of people who write in letters to the editor about your article. So you'll get, like, it's just not a system that's done that way. So fiction writing has always been very speculative. And I understand that because it is very it's very, in the past and stuff, it's been very, who knows what anyone's going to like. But I would say that that has all changed with technology. We are able to predict with pretty decent, results, what's going to sell well, what's not going to sell well. We have data, we have trends, we have data-driven publishing now. There's not an indie worth their salt that's not looking at K-Lytics or Kindle Trends or KDP Spy or what's the Dave Chesson one? KDP Rocket, Publisher Rocket. Like, we have these tools, and we've always had these tools as indies. TradPub is starting to have has been having these tools as well. Big publishers have been having these tools as well. So I'm imagining a world for our press, and this is still like back of the napkin. This is early days, okay? And I'm pulling a lot of it from my previous experience as an SEO writer and all of that. But we're envisioning a world where the first tier of writing with AI would be like you guys using our software. So we have the logs, and like there's a call for submissions, and people are writing the books for that. If it gets picked up, you're getting a work for hire contract, and it's a certain percentage of how well the work does over a certain period of time. No further royalties after that, no further payment after that. It's a hey, we understand you're taking a chance on us, we're taking a chance on you, we're going to handle everything, and you get a percentage of what the book does. Pretty straightforward. And then I think there's a tier where people who have been doing that for a little bit and they're comfortable. We start building a press that has writers on staff, and the writers are just taking the books out of Your First Draft and they're cleaning them up and editing them. Because not even the story like you guys just watched me do that story dossier thing. How many of you struggle with the plotting that you just watched me do? How many of you that is a struggle for you? You don't know why you can't ever get it down, but you love to edit books. You like to fix the drafts. Anyone in the audience? But you don't like to plot like that. You don't like to think about the marketability of a book. I'll wait because I know it takes a little bit of a gap. And then we'll come back and talk about that. So I can envision a world where there is the editorial group is looking at the trends and designing the story dossiers. And believe it or not, this is actually what happens in big publishing all the time. Once an author gets an agent and is in the system, so to speak, there's an editor that's usually saying, hey, I'm looking for XYZ. And the agents know this and the authors know this, and they will almost kind of do like a little bit of work, like I'm trying to make the thing that you want in your slot for 6 months from now, or 10 months from now, or 18 months from now. So we can just do that on a much shorter timetable. We can actually go from, hey, we have a vision for this 3-book series. Hey, we have a team that's going to go ahead and plot them all out so that all of the story dossiers are solid to be able to run in AI. We run them in AI. Now we have 3 drafts, and then we hand those 3 books off to one editor, one author, editor. I don't know what the hell we'll call this person. It is editing, but it's an editing where you get to change things. Like, you're not editing and being like, I'm going to write it as a comment. No, you just change it. You just fix it. So whatever that is, a junior writer, editor, whatever, you make the changes. And then those books go back to the person who was controlling all of the story dossiers, the lead or whatever for the pen name, and they're reading them and making sure that they hit the mark. And then they go out the door and they delight readers around the world. That's the future I see. And we can't have people in those roles who don't understand books, who don't understand stories, who don't understand readers. So I'm thinking it's people who are either very good at plotting and things like that, or who are very good at the publishing side of things, being that person who's making the story dossiers, deciding what's going on in the trilogy and everything like that. And then it goes to someone who's going to do the writing. Like, I love the words. I want to get in there and change. I want to be the one that, oh my gosh, that dialogue is so bad. Let me fix that dialogue. But then oftentimes that author's like, please don't make me mark it. Please don't make me go talk about this book or talk to readers. Or I just want to play with the stories. Just let me play with the stories. So there's design the stories, play with the stories, and then there's a group that is marketing and selling the stories. And I think with AI, we can now make that be a situation where it's more author-led. That's my vision. So I see the notes here. Lee Kirk says, I'm the opposite. I like the upfront and cleanup, not a rewrite. So you would be someone that would be a candidate for that other role of like, I'm going to plan out the series. It's going to get produced. I think produced by someone. And then you're looking at the final and you're just making those final little tweaks if there's something that's like a little bit not off. And I envision a world where the person who's the producer and the person who's making the story dossiers, you're going to sit down and talk about that story dossier before it gets run by the AI. There's a meeting of the minds to make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as what the experience is for the reader. And it's okay to have different ideas. It's okay for there to be a collaboration even at that point, where the person who is maybe in charge of the pen name is doing their best to accommodate the one who's going to be the production specialist on it as much as possible. And I'll give a good example on that. This book that we just worked on with the bourbon and stuff. If someone had an idea of what if they get married at the end, so it's a double wedding, the person who's producing it might go, it doesn't really work for this pen name because that's like a runaway wedding thing, but let's talk about a 3-book runaway wedding series. Like, let's talk about doing 3 books that are like instant marriages. So we're setting up situations for instant marriages. And so we go with that for 3 books, but we don't want to do one of those books in this group of 3 because it's a mismatch out of these 3. Does that make sense to everybody? Sue says, I love the whole process, but I'm slow. I know my craft and agree with J Penn and FFA that it's time to adapt. I'm more than happy to wait in and help. Great. Harper says, my favorite part is the planning and the world building. Not as much a fan of the editing, but it's easier to edit YFD than a mess of my own first drafts. Exactly. Harper, you're someone I could very easily see with your outlining skills. I could see you being someone who's in charge of a romance line. And then you just have writers that your producers that you're working with. And so you're making sure that those, like, I could see you being someone in charge of one of the pen names that the press owns. Will there still be room for experimental writers in not so hot genres, or authors who prefer to write the whole lot except for some minor edits or some of the marketing? Just asking. Possibly. Experimental writers with AI? Absolutely. Somebody who wants to write the whole lot, I think that's more of a boutique publisher, and probably we won't be the right fit for that just because we are really going to be leveraging speed in terms of how we are like, efficiency is one of our leverages as a press, feeding readers. So if someone wants to write everything themselves and they are someone that can only produce 3 books a year, it wouldn't really be a good fit for our press because we're going to be training our readers. You don't wait a whole year for 3 books. You should be getting your 3 books within 1 to 3 months of when they release. So it's always instant gratification for the reader. That is what one of the promises that we are making being AI authors. That doesn't mean that that way is wrong. It's just not the right fit for us. Does that make sense, Antonio? So not hot genres, writing with AI, being able to do 3 books in a not hot genre and we're experimenting? Absolutely, because we have the margins to do so. Writing things slower, not as great of a fit for what we're trying to do with the press. Unless you're able to write all 3 books and then approach to us once you have the whole trilogy, and then sure. But regardless, everything with the press, I want to make this very clear, is Stratemeyer Syndicate. It is not a pen name that anyone owns except for the press. The press will own the books, will own the pen names, and there's a reason for this. AI is very new, okay? And we have at least a few years of hate. It might even be longer than a few years. I don't know. I'll be fine. We'll be fine. So we're doing this in a way to pave the way to make it open for other people to follow in our wake. Okay. So I want the press to own the books so that no individual person is having to bear the burden of any of the hate. No one person is having to bear the burden of any possible litigation or possible consequences. I mean, this is definitely still a new experimental area, right? And so the goal here is if the press owns pen names, then we can support the staff writer idea, so that as writers are competent with AI and everything like that, you are not going to eat and feed your family based off of the performance of your last book. You're going to eat and feed your family based on the salary that you're making as part of this author coalition that is doing all of these great AI works for readers. Make sense? And that's not something like the original vision is like publishers are going to leave authors behind. They don't need authors anymore. I'm making the bet, no, we need authors, and we should start paying authors a salary, and we should start turning publishing into reader satisfaction. That's what we're doing. Reader satisfaction. How many people here would take a job full time for 60 grand plus bonuses to just write 4 to 6 books a month with AI? You just write the book, you have the outline, and then you're just cleaning it up and you're turning it in. And it's a completely remote job. I would take that job. And then have pen name bonuses, parties, fun events, being the people who literally get to decide what the heck, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How are we doing this? How are we going into the future together with a party and some parades? Yeah, that's my vision. That's what I see for Future Fiction Press. And I've seen it for a long time. This is not the first time I've talked about this, but things are starting to crystallize and cement. And, oh, yes, but would you limit people from publishing on their own as well? Boo, no, absolutely not. Now, if you published on your own and you missed your quota for your job, what happens? The same thing that would happen with any job, right? If you have a salary position and you're supposed to be doing 4 books for the press a month, and you don't get 4 books that month because you published 2 on your own, you would agree that that's a problem. And it's not a problem of our making. So, yes, very much. It's like ghostwriters. You can always write aside your own books while learning craft here. Or you can be learning craft over there, doing something experimental on your own time that then you're like, hey, I have some information here. And we're like, okay, cool. Now you get to be in charge of a whole new pen name and you get to run that line because you have figured out something new that's exciting. O-Ring says, I would absolutely take that job. I just hope AI hate goes away. With our edits, hopefully they won't know it's AI. They will know it's AI because as the Future Fiction Press, we are being out public that these books are written with a community of authors who are using AI to delight readers. Every single pen name, Sydney Marsh, Margot Hollis, Zelda Quinn. There's more. All these pen names are pen names by us. And so I see worlds, like people have asked, like, well, how are readers going to like this? Well, eventually the authors who are behind those names will come out. And they will be on the stage at Comic-Con. The person who runs the pen name will be like, yes, there's 10 authors who work on Zelda Quinn so that a zany galaxy dating story goes out every single week because we can't do it without 10 authors at the wheel. And then some of those authors, you know, if they're comfortable, they can also go to that Comic-Con and be at the story and be like, oh yeah, I did Zelda Quinn 12, 13, and 14. And here was my inspiration because, you know, I just watched Doctor Who and I just was thinking about this. And I was like, well, what if that could happen? So then I got to bring those ideas into the Zelda Quinn project. Audiences accept all the time artists working on bigger projects as a group. They accept movies. They accept comics. They expect all kinds of things. So we're just moving into a world where it's a bunch of different authors who are at the helm working together with AI to make the life even easier. So that it's all about telling great stories and less about carpal tunnel syndrome. So it is now 1 o'clock. We have hit the 3-hour mark. So thank you guys so much for coming and hearing my vision of the future. I know I'm crazy. I know. But I don't see anyone else who has any kind of hope to offer for the future. I see a lot of doom and gloom, but I see hope. I see opportunity. And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure that that opportunity reaches as many authors. We're starting off with the free classes. We're starting off with the free we have a free class, Intro to AI Writing. We have free YouTubes. Then we have low-cost classes with the standalones. You can get 50% off of those every time they come out. I mean, the classes being offered this month, there's quite a few of them that are really great for less than $100. You can $250 join the accelerator. I can't believe that our organization has grown, that we are now being able to meet authors at so many different levels, all the way up to boot camp of YFD is an opportunity, and then the publishing summit. The publishing summit is available this month. It will be closing at the end of this month, so there is 7 more days to join Bad Evans Publishing Summit. I believe there's only 23. There was 23 spots 3 hours ago. I don't know how many spots are left now, but this is the opportunity. And if you can't take advantage of these opportunities, it's not too late. I haven't left you. We haven't left you. We've been here for 2 years. We're going to keep being here no matter what happens in the future. We're not leaving you guys, but hopefully we're going to have some really cool paths of reinventing what it means for publishing and for authors to work together in Stratemeyer Syndicate. And if you don't know what any of that is, look up Stratemeyer Syndicate and you'll find out that it was all the Hardy Boys, all the Nancy Drew books. Even my favorite Babysitters Club books were written by multiple authors. You might find out that some of your favorite series growing up were written by multiple authors. So it's okay to do that. And I think readers of this era, of this time period, will accept that if we explain to them, this is nothing new under the sun. We're just faster and better. All right, everyone, in 3 hours, make sure you're back here for a Kello. I will see you at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a song. What do we want? Do we want Write Free or Blueprints and Deadlines? I think we're going to go with Blueprints and Deadlines.
Write in coffee shops, ink stained hopes in moleskin lines. Now I'm clicking through the silence, chasing plots on GPT time. Got 1,000 words before the sunrise, a worksheet saved with dreams inside. Structures holy, chaos sacred, the novel lives where both collide. Every prompt's a little prayer to the ghost in my machine. Make it real, make it matter. Build my chapters like a dream. Blueprints and deadlines. I'm building my empire one scene at a time. Page by page through heartbreaking grind. I don't need a muse, I've got design. From first draft to final line. Blueprints and deadlines. Watch me rise. Raised on mixtape style of dreams, burn CDs in Word doc schemes. Now we blueprint arcs like architects, but every line still bleeds. We're the rebels with a method, plot beats mapped and stories tamed. But don't mistake the spreadsheet's order for a lack of flame. We are poets, we are coders, alchemists of ink and light. Narratives in folders, still chasing something right. Blueprints and deadlines. I'm building my empire one scene at a time. Page by page through heartbreaking grind. I don't need a muse, I've got design. From first draft to final line. Blueprints and deadlines. Watch me rise, tell the world we found a better way. Structured magic in a modern age. Let the haters call it soulless fine, but I know that spark is partly mine and partly gold. We're not cheating, we're evolving. Stories never stop revolving. Blueprints and deadlines. Still dreaming in Helvetica and shine. We don't wait for lightning
thank you, everyone, so much. And thank you, Plumstone. I try to share some of your comments during the song. The walk away with a brain full of new ideas and thoughts. I walk away super empowered. I'm so grateful to all of you that tune into these things. I will see you at 8 o'clock. Ikella will see you at 4 o'clock Eastern. Bye.